All right.
Hey.
We live, ready to rise.
That was funny. How y'all doing? Every-
Hello, everyone, on this glorious Friday. Yes. How is everybody? How you doing, Koya? How you
Hope
doing?
everybody had a good week.
The week started
I'm
off
good.
challenging.
How you?
I'm good. Guess what? It came.
What?
The mail with what I've been looking for.
Early?
Not early. What you talking about? I'm,
Mm.
I'm talking about the
Oh, the late mail.
yeah, the real late mail. Finally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lord have thy mercy. So, whew,
Ooh, this is a anticipated topic today.
uh-huh. One of the anticipated topics.
Oh yeah, one of them. We still avoiding the other ones. We haven't fully developed how
We're
that's
not
going.
avoiding. We're not avoiding it. See, because we have an
I'm
agreed.
avoiding.
I'm not avoiding it. Alicia,
I'm
we're not
trying to be honest
avoiding it.
because Lily's watching, so I'm not trying to lie because Lily watching. So I'm telling the truth, Lily. We haven't figured out which approach we're going to take to even open those topics.
True.
Oh. I got my I chose the sun kiss light because I have a sun kiss shirt on,
Mm.
so I have a warm light.
Okay.
I just thought it was cool.
I just rigged up a light. I wish I could show you.
Mm, fancy.
Yeah, the DP in the house.
Hey,
Uh,
girl.
who that is?
That is Dr. Shani Glade Suggs.
Oh, how you doing,
Lily.
Dr. Glaude? How you doing,
All right,
Alicia?
party people, let's get this rocking. So,
Yeah, we're not lolling. We're not beating around the bush or
the
nothing.
reason I came up with this topic today is because it's been coming up in a lot of like actual conversations. Maybe because it's been quarantine and stuff. I don't know. It's everywhere though. Like this topic is on television all day, every day. It is in actual real human conversations every day. And honestly, first of all, I love that my sister gave herself a shameless plug. She knows why. She know why my hair popping because she did it.
Shout out to Dr. Shani Glaude
She also does my.
Suggs, the
Y'all
stylist.
heard what I said though, right? My hair though, like she won't. She's not gonna do y'all's hair. She can.
Right.
She don't have no
She
time.
she not for hire, but
I
her
have
skill her skills are the ones to be desired because they fire.
I have a slight learning curve,
I tell you like
and I make accommodations for myself when it comes to my hair, and I don't really do my hair that well myself, so it's just not one of my strengths. So I let other people do it.
facts.
So anyway, marriage, love and marriage.
Love and marriage go
So
together like a horse and
stop. No, we're not paying anybody. So um yeah, so the reason this topic came up is because everybody has this in conversation at some point in life. And we are both, me and Matthew, single. We have never been married. We do not have any children, da, 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 right? We've had
and we were
relationships,
born in the early 80s.
and we were born in the early eight. This is important to the topic as well, by the way, generational shifts. So this is not, I would just want a disclaimer, okay? This is not me telling you the way that you live your life is wrong. I want to say that no matter how candid I get throughout this conversation. These are my beliefs,
True.
my belief system, Matthew's belief system. You guys are welcome to share your belief systems. This is just the one that I think is it works for me. I would like to share it. And yeah. So I think it is important to say that I think that growing up in the 80s in a Christian household um, can shape what your views are about marriage. Absolutely, like completely shapes your view, especially growing up. Um, so, and then whatever you're actually experiencing with your parental unit or guardians, what because it be grandparents, aunts, uncles, whatever system you have as a family is really a large, has a large reason why you see things the way you see things, right?
Right.
So when I think about that, I think about what my mother taught me versus what I learned in church, what I learned talking to my friends, what I saw around me, other people's family units, things like that. And TV is included in that as well. It in particular black television in particular. Um, because did I pay attention to all relationships on television? Yeah, sure. But once we were able to see black relationships on television more often, it was definitely all these things become like this blueprint that add up to what you think is union or marriage or a relationship or dating or whatever, right? And I guess my first question to just really start off the discussion, and Matthew, you can start, is does the system of marriage that most of us know, if you're from here, you are from the United States, that a lot of us were taught just as a country as a whole. Yes, we are a melting pot, but there's still a majority of people that were taught something being here in this country, right? There are legal documents, there are things, this is what marriage is, right? So my question is for us in particular, it could be generation wise as well, but culturally, does this system work for us? Does the standard of marriage work for our community? Has it worked?
Hmm. Well, to a disclaimer before we get to that having it work, to Alicia's comment, she was saying she's just here to listen. She don't know what married folks be going be be doing. You know what I mean? This is not a topic. We're not married, so we don't know what married folks be doing either. This is not a topic about
We just know what is around us, what we're
what
exposed
married
to.
people should or should not do. This is not one of those
This is what
conversations. We
happens.
can't tell people. That's the whole point. Everybody's relationships are their relationships, and your relationship is what you outline between you and your partner. So whatever y'all do in the home, if y'all like to get in the fist fights,
Wait, we're not condoning unhealthy
we're not
behavior.
condoning that.
We're
We're
not
glad,
condoning when we say customizing, because you'll hear this customizing a relationship or making a blueprint. We are not talking about allowing toxic behaviors to be a part of your blueprint.
right.
That
We're
is
not
not
talking
what
about that.
we're
But the point of it
talking
was, it's not about what you all like. We're not here to say that, oh, this is right, this is right, this is right. We're just making a discussion. So to your point, to answer your question about um what is, you know, is this working for us as a community coming from the Black American community? No,
okay.
not anymore. Not anymore.
Did it ever?
And for the American society, I want to say
Healthy?
no,
Okay.
not anymore either. So I think it's for a lot of reasons, though. I think people's mindsets about ideologies and things like that are changing because more information is given. People are free yet still confined in their minds. It's
Let's
weird.
clarify one thing first. What do we like me and you, what do we consider traditional marriage and a non-conventional or non-traditional marriage?
A traditional marriage is one that is, if we're going to talk about American, it's going to be religious based, um, strongly Christian based for the Americans. But I'm saying religious based because we have multiple religions and all of them are like that's one thing that's kind of standard in amongst them all. So that's going to be a standard thing. And then there's the other side of it. For me, the business side of the actual marriage contract in America
Okay.
that is made between the two
Okay. Wait a
individuals.
minute.
That's the one thing that is not talked about a lot
Mm.
is
And what did
this
you call
being
it?
a business contract,
Okay.
a business contract between individuals.
Mm.
Um, that's a big part that is not that's designed into the whole package. The religious part is a cultural, social thing that has been passed no matter if what the religious spiritual practices are. There was always some sort of union
Okay.
of around the spirituality of the whatever that community that you represent and are a part of. So
Mm.
I think that's always been a part of unions
Okay.
and life partnerships. And that's a word that I'll use a lot is life partnerships because we talk about marriage, but if we think about a business like we have a LLC, it's a limited liability partnership. There are sole proprietorships, there are partnerships, there are corporations where there are partners, stakeholders. A business is in that, marriage in America is in that realm.
Mm.
It's a partnership, it's a business partnership surrounded based upon love between two people.
Okay.
And that's where we got to get to like, all right, we basing it on love. Does it have to be? My question is, does it have to be this American business contract in the same way that it's pushed in the system?
So like there's certain things that go along with that contract that you're talking about. And that's I think the part that's problematic. So like let's take where we are as a community, as a culture, because of course there's different levels of our culture, right?
Hmm.
A lot of the things that hurt marriages in our community specifically for us are usually financial. I'm going to say also imbalance of something, usually an effort or imbalance of something that actually keeps a couple together in some
Right.
form, right? And some type of betrayal, mistrust, okay? All these words that we use. And I don't know, I guess when I think about us as humans, like individuals, like here's a human, I'm a human, you're a human. And I think we kind of miss that the best part about having a partnership in a union is not that you get like this other half of yourself. You get like a whole nother person. And I
Right.
feel like where we messed up is like there's always these things attached to like breakups and whatever you want to divorces. It's like, oh, I lost part of myself. And did you? Or did you just lose a whole extra person? You lost a
Mm.
whole extra person, but you didn't lose yourself. Now you might lose yourself in that grieving process or whatever it may be called. But I think we rely so much on the need for that to feel that other half of yourself from what we've been told. I feel like that's what we were told. Like this is your other half. It's always your other half. Like as if
Ooh,
you didn't come in as a whole soul by yourself.
them vows, a whole setup said
Like
by
the
Dr.
vow should be
Claude.
like, yo, I'm willing to evolve with you. And if I don't like where you evolve, we're gonna have a conversation.
Mm.
Let's have a conversation about where we evolve throughout this marriage. Because I may evolve somewhere, you may evolve somewhere, I may regress, you may regress, and then at some point I may look at you and you may look at me and I'd be like, I don't really like you that much no more.
Ah,
Like I'm a whole nother person.
that better or worse stuff. What if your worse
So it's
threatens
a
my
better
better?
or worse, but like, is it worse to the detriment of your mental health? Is it
Of your
is the
better?
worst?
Look, she
You're not
said
going to be able to connect with another whole human. You might have a whole soulmate or whatever you believe in, a whole nother connection, a whole nother energy out there, and that might just be your time with that person. It might just
yeah,
be like, what?
she
I got
said, what if your worst threatens my better?
what if your worst
Like
ends
you're
my
saying
best?
like this
Hey,
better or
you
worse.
hear me?
You it's like,
I had to think about it.
do I have to like if you're worse, if you do some shit like y'all know can happen in a marriage that could take all the finances, that could do all some bullshit, why does that have to affect my better? Why can't I
Here's what I feel about
sever
the
from
best
that?
word ever. I love that my sister taught me about boundaries in the correct way. Because what I learned is this is not about rules and standards in a marriage. This is about your boundaries. If you communicate your boundaries, your personal boundaries with your partner, and if they with it and you with their boundaries, and y'all like, you know what? I can work with those boundaries. Those are the rules of your marriage. Those are the rules of your relationship.
What about that comment that is like popular right now? Like you have to be able to deal with each other's crazy. What about that? Like
What you
as a life
mean? I
partnership?
don't believe in ride
Like
or die. You know that. That's my whole thing. I'm not dying with you, son, on purpose. Hmm? First of all, why are we manifesting that? Why are we manifesting the death? Okay. Why are we
so
manifesting being poor? Why are we manifesting being sick in front of God? Why are we manifesting that
mm,
on the first day of our marriage?
mm.
Why are we even putting that out in the atmosphere? I'm gonna be like, yo, love me for richer and more rich. I'm gonna be like, love me for being broke, and then what? Like, huh? But this is
But that's a
unrealistic.
whole thing. Then if is I think but there's merit to that because it's saying that love for love and not for the other
Yeah,
parts. But
but why can't you
I
say
don't
that? Why
think the
can't you
other
say
parts are
love me
given
for
enough
me?
credit.
But if I evolve and you think that you don't like me no more, like let me know, bruh. Like let me know you don't like the direction I'm going because it don't work for you.
Now Lily made a point. Now it makes marriage seem like it's death, like it's the end of something. Like
It is the end of something, a cycle. It's the end of a cycle, and you got another cycle. It's the end of a soul contract. It is the end of something. It is actually a real agreement. That is the death of something.
right, love unconditionally. The materials, the other things
I don't even
shouldn't
think people
matter in that.
know what Shelly, people
But
don't know what that means. They don't know what unconditionally means.
because unconditionally, I
What it actually means.
that's a we got to look at that and evaluate it. I think
Unconditionally
all
means,
love has a condition.
well, what they mean by conditions isn't really the right word. What they really mean is they're talking about surface conditions, like deal breakers that
So,
are unrealistic. Like there are unrealistic things. Like if you gain over 50 pounds and we're together 10 years, I will divorce you. Like there are people that speak like that. You know what I'm saying? So when I think about things like that, you're like, oh wow, that's your deal breaker for so she can't be human. Nothing should ever shift in her life ever. Now, if you
right,
want to talk
and
about
that's
your
wrong.
partner not being attracted to your partner anymore, that's a conversation you can have. That's that's a completely different conversation to set it up one way versus the other. Like that's a deal breaker. You see what I'm saying?
Like the criteria, you have specific criteria that are so normal and things
Right.
that are just like you can't control sometimes.
Like, son,
And
I'm
then
not
you
gonna
have,
keep loving you because you love me, and then we promised each other we're just gonna keep loving each other. If I'm just walking around like, ugh, I'm tired of him.
well, that goes for the better or worse part. Like if your worst is that you're not evolving, and and like you said, we promised to evolve together, and you or I, one of us is not evolving, and the other one has evolved so much during the time that now the attraction is different. The attraction is gone to what you knew before. So that's one of those things that could change how you feel and how you love that person. I don't think you're gonna have this like no love for them, but I think that your love will change and that you may not be attracted to them in that way to be in a relationship with them anymore. Um, there's such a variety of
Mm?
relationships that
Because
is okay.
people grow, people grow all the time, and they grow apart, and they grow closer, and they grow sideways and diagonal, and it just happens. And sometimes you meet back up, and sometimes you don't.
Hmm.
And so, like, my concern is, oh no, yeah, Shunny, no, you need boundaries, but I'm saying it needs to be based upon what you really have as boundaries for your individual self, not based on some like strange standard and rules that someone else told you. Just like actually how you feel, like what doesn't work for you. I expect to ride for conditions such as unemployment, changes in physical appearance, depression, grief, disability, etc. But abuse, anything that leads to harm or safety issues or feeling of being neglected or unloved, can be abuses over time. No, yeah, that's what we started out the conversation with. Everything we're talking about does not include toxic um, relationships and behaviors.
Right. See, I like what she said. Adult love should have conditions. Conditional love is for our children. We unconditionally love the children. It's like no choice. We don't even think about that. But for an adult, for another person, you choose to love them when you start to love them, and that choose to take on that
Well,
feeling.
everything is a choice. You choose to
Right.
get married. You choose to be
Right, to
monogamous.
choose to take on that feeling has conditions attached to it. And I think that's what we don't think about. And I think the conditions such as is a good way to say it instead
So
of
let me
being
tell you why.
totally
Let me tell you why I look at it.
unconditional.
So Matt, let me tell you why I look at it different. We're talking about marriage. I guess I'm thinking about love. When I think about unconditional love for real as a human, like what love actually means, I don't even if you're in an abusive situation, there's at some point if we're in love with this person, there was love for this person, right? Love for that energy. That doesn't mean you stay in it, right? It doesn't mean you have to put up with that behavior, but that doesn't mean that you didn't have some emotions there at some point, which is, you see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that it's healthy or that's healthy energy that you attracted or they brought in or whatever, right? But
Hmm.
I guess I think that marriage is conditional, but love is unconditional because I have love for people who have done stuff to me that is not favorable, and I still have love for them. Doesn't mean they're in my space. Doesn't mean I speak to them. Doesn't mean none of that.
Right. I can love you but don't have to be with you. I can love you but not like you. That's the type of love that a lot of people have in their families. When people have like, I love that person, lots of love, but I don't like them right now.
Mm-mm.
I
Right.
don't like their actions. I don't like what they're doing because it's detrimental to either themselves or their family or my family or whatever. These are all conditions of love. Now, some love in that aspect is still there regardless, but it's not unconditional. It's just it's a condition of family. I think
Because
family is a
you know
condition
what,
of love.
and you know what it is, Shani. Shelly, I knew that's what you were saying. I just wanted to explain it further so everybody kind of knew where I was coming from. But yeah, so
Right.
Shani, as far as the like, so the relationship part, I feel like
That's like what I said. Like
that's
families are a
that's
relationship.
hold on.
Yeah.
The standard that we have been taught is under a certain like bubble, right? Like here's the bubble. These are the standards we were taught. We see it. It's everywhere. It's on TV. It's in movies. It's in your house. It's at your friend's house. It's at your grandparents' house. Whatever, right? This is what you think it looks like. Then you grow up. Things happen. Life happens, and then things change, and then energies change, and then you see things work. And you think things don't work. And you start learning real stuff about your parents and real stuff about your grandparents and your friends' parents, and you start developing all these ideas. And you start researching, you start living, you know what I'm saying? And I think we just are so harsh on each other because there's this bubble and there's this standard that we don't understand that everybody just can't move the same way. Everybody doesn't move the same way. It doesn't work the same way. Everybody don't have the same temperament. Everybody don't have the same hurt and pain and trauma and experiences and things that make them happy and things that work for them. Like one person may feel very free in a marriage and one person may feel trapped. So we judge on how people are actually just saying they feel this way about how they want to live their life to be happy. And it doesn't have to be a right or wrong. I just want people to understand there may be some concepts behind what we have been taught about the traditional marriage that may not be working for our actual people.
And that's the main thing that we're talking about too. When we say, is it working for us? Now I'm gonna go down to our community because I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna bring the truth today between the American community. I'm going there. Everybody else, y'all can sit down. We're not talking to y'all right now. Um, our community, the traditional marriage system has not worked in the last few generations. It worked up until maybe our grandparents, so the early '80s
You mean
babies
they suffered
grandparents.
through it? What'd you say?
Say again?
You said they suffered through it? What?
No, I said our grandparents.
Suffered through it?
No, they are probably the ones. Are you mocking me or you? No, they didn't suffer through it. They
Mm,
had tradition. Well,
mm,
they had traditional marriages because the system was all they knew. This system was all
mm,
they knew.
mm.
So, did it
I'm
work for
happy for the
them?
system.
Did
Sure.
it work for them?
The
Maybe
system
a
works.
little bit.
The system works.
Maybe a
It's
yeah.
the system works.
But then it started to break down.
Correct.
Um,
Because the other plans were coming in play.
because
Slavery.
right, and as
Right.
we get to now, we're looking at how that was that whole system was created against us anyway.
Mm.
So, and I'm specific, we're talking about a specific way of giving us the one thing that we could have, which was religion, which was happened to be Christianity, a lot of Southern Baptists and others.
Hey,
Okay,
son, Lily's comments are hilarious right now.
right. That's what I'm saying because they just held stuff together for
She
show.
called it the silent generation.
Exactly.
But that's
So,
real. That's real. It's not funny, but it's funny because it's a perfect name for them.
and
But
that's why this is part of post-traumatic slave syndrome
it
with
really
our
is. It goes
community.
back to slavery, guys. So, like, this is what I was talking about earlier with my mom. And my mom looked at me and was like, ooh, okay. And so I'm sorry that it always comes back to slavery. But, well, this is how you made us. So I don't know what to tell you. But every structure we know that is not based in African American foundations, like actually we started it, right? Is from the oppressor. So it was introduced by the oppressor. And the fact that we are trying to uphold the oppressor's standards, but also break them down at the same time, but only pick and choose which ones we're going to be oppressed by is a little confusing for me,
Hmm.
because I don't understand how we haven't created a system that works for us. If more African Americans understood Kwanzaa, they could understand that you could apply that rule to every aspect of your life.
And that's what I'm saying about traditional. We need to create
The principles make sense for every
our own tradition of marriage that helps us to keep our family units together. And that would be considered non-traditional in the sense of how we were taught what a marriage is, because it doesn't have to be centered around um certain values that everybody is supposed to follow, but it's about the values and beliefs that you and your partner plan to follow that are positive and that are progressive for your family.
right.
And things like Kwanzaa are not things that we just celebrate at one time of the year, but they're a lifestyle.
Yep.
So if you use that as our tradition because it's created by us for us,
Yep.
um, as part of the marriage, it's not just for your family that's already together. You use those principles to figure out how to create a union between a partner. Because there's so many types of relationships. We could
Right.
go into different types of relationships all day. Like so many things are factors and why people
Yeah.
and what people do out here in their relationships.
But I
So
think that it would be an interesting conversation if people stepped outside of what we were taught, like as far as Christians, as far as religion, as far as whatever we were taught at this point, that was not created solely from us, from the seed, needs to be reevaluated. Because if we're not succeeding in the formula and it's not working for the dynamics that are now happening with our generation, then we need to shift those things. If it's not working, we got to stop putting pressure on actual human beings to be something they are not understanding, or it's unnatural for them, or it feels wrong, or it feels right, or whatever it is.
mhm.
It's the pressure of having to fit inside of something without even really knowing what your feelings are about it.
Right, and that goes to what Lily is talking about with the polyamory and polyamory, whatever, however you say it. Even those people that do polygamy, like these are considered non-traditional ways of marriage, but they make one illegal, they other one is looked frowned upon. Like, how could you have a sister wife or a person, another partner? Because, like, those are different ways that people decide they want to have life partnerships. They don't want to just have one life partner. They want to have
Right.
multiple life
But
partners.
not
And
just that, what mom said is a great point. So she
right,
said,
it backs that right
I
up.
know many different types of marriage relationships, different habits can move to separate bedrooms. One enjoy working outside the house and then the blah, 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 blah. Working at home, not gender specific. Um, and people don't publicly discuss it. That's the issue. And that's why I wanted to talk about it, because it's so taboo to talk about our, again, y'all, I talked about it last week. We've been taught to shut our mouths. We've been taught it's taboo to be open about your life. We've been taught it is not your business to talk about your marriage, talk about sex, talk about love, talk about money, talk whatever. And that's why don't nobody know nothing. Cause we don't talk enough. So that's the problem. Like we out here like, oh my God, like what do I do in this situation? I'm in the dark, I don't know what to do. Because we're not talking to each other. We don't have platforms that are expressing this enough and pushing this enough. We don't have education in it. We don't, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's household got, Lord knows, got a million things, different things happening. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because
So
Bobby
the
said
problem with that is that we miss out. We miss out on learning. We like I didn't get to I'm so glad that I just ran my mouth and just asked my mother a whole bunch of questions when I was growing up that I was able to navigate differently. I wasn't completely blind out here, you know?
Yeah, mommy talks about we spend a lot of time talking about marriage, and we need to spend more time talking about marriage and less
And
time
when it come out the
talking
wedding,
about the wedding.
but that's the country we live in. We live in a consumer country. So unfortunately, until we get that right, that's what's gonna always look like. Because and that's your right. Like people we are like
You
we're
broke
taught
up.
to dream of weddings. Cartoons got weddings and all types of hmm?
I say you broke up for a second.
Oh. So yeah, so I'm pretty much like I don't the stress. Okay, so this is gonna be such a random example, but part of the reason I started talking about this is because I was watching Marriage Boot Camp yesterday, and I was so stressed out watching it. Okay, because there's a whole bunch of like black reality stars. Okay, and I was watching them, and I was just really stressed out because I was watching the dynamic of the man and the woman and situations and what their issues were. And it was like, God, like if they following this formula and they all a mess individually, and then they've caused a combination of trauma with each other. And then you're like watching this therapist, he's trying to break it all down for them. Like he's trying to get them strong individually, but they got so much stuff going on in the combination, they can't even really even see themselves individually. And so like I'm sitting there watching, I'm listening to the issues, and I'm like, oh my God, if they believe in this standard that was given to us, even though the if this was what taught to us, but they also knew that they were going to break our family structures down, how are we supposed to attain this? And so I'm looking at them and I'm like, they struggling. And it's not because they don't love each other. It's just because they don't have the tools. They don't understand how to get there. They were never there in the first place. You know, it's just like all types of things that is like, oh my God, like the reason they know they failed is because they're trying to get to here instead of just like, let's work on respect.
Well,
This-
I think there's a big factor in that that goes with the fact that they're trying. Everybody only has, like Shawnee was talking about, their frustration along with some is trying to make things fit in a structure that they don't necessarily have models for, and I think that's when you're breaking tradition and you're trying to do things and the roles are different and you're trying to figure it out and you don't have a model for it, then you try to go to people that help you. You try to go to places to help you to get the help. People say go to this person. They want you to do it within a certain structure that doesn't fit your relationship. Therapists, marriage counseling, pastors, all these different people going to have their particular way, and if it doesn't fit that and there's nobody for most people, these places to get help are all thinking that like funneling the same kind of idea.
right.
So where can you get help when your relationship is not what people thought relationships were or supposed to be or whatever?
Well, everything you just said is a problem. Like that's problematic because okay, so like for instance, the fact that I even knew today was going to be controversial, right? I knew today was going to be controversial because when we step out of line to our people, it becomes a controversy, and it becomes this betrayal because everything we do is a betrayal. You know what I'm saying? Everything we do to our people is a betrayal because we had to rely on each other and it was only us. We couldn't trust nobody else. We could only trust each other, but we didn't really trust each other. And we didn't really like each other all the time because we don't have to like everybody. But we just was like, we gotta like everybody right now because we all black. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you might not align with that. Like, and that's my thing is that
That's post-traumatic slave syndrome,
right. So that's
because
what I'm
that's
saying is that
fear that was put
already
into us
right,
by the oppressors. Like, you got to follow it this way if you want us to approve it. If you
right,
don't be doing your thing, like
right.
that's how.
So there are people now who are okay about non-traditional roles. There are people that have women, in the role where they are bringing home more money and men are bringing home less money. But this is what I have noticed. At some point, I have seen the tradition creep in and start attacking that male part of them and that
Let's
female
let's talk
part
about that.
and
Let's talk
and
about
that
it. Let's
imbalance
talk
and that
about that
imbalance
part.
of masculine, feminine energies, because there's still that we all have masculine and feminine energies within our individual selves. And then when you combine two people or other parties around your energies, you're dealing with all of that. And some people are balanced in it and some people are not. So, but you get in there and they might be, your friends might be like, bruh, like, what you mean she making more than you? And you might be like, I mean, she do. And you might be fine about it, but you might go sit in the car and cry. You know what I'm saying? We might not know it. And I feel like it comes out. It's like one little thing that comes out, and you'd be like, "Oh, see." And then you got the flip side. There are unfortunately toxic women who will throw that in a man's face because ultimately we always come back to this ideal that we were taught. What I was telling Shani earlier was subconsciously we have come out of this world, we come out the womb, and we're like almost taught that, hey, you got to go get a good education, go get your skills up, right? Go do all this, go to college, get a job, so you can be a good wife and a good mother. Flip side, same to a man, go get your money up so you can get this, and this. Have your wife. They don't never say be a good husband. Have your wife. Have you some kids. That is what we hear, even if it's not directly from your household. But that is what we see. Every dynamic we saw on television growing up, if it was a black family, it was mom does this, dad does this. Now, the Cosby Show was an exception to the rule because both of them made bread, but it's a balance. They were balanced, and so therefore it worked. It just worked because there was a balance with them. I don't know if it's going to work either way. I think that if any one person is in complete power of one thing, it is always going to be an issue, which is why I believe in partnership.
Hmm. So that's why that makes that important for you. You've learned, and that's one thing that we see, like in the latter years now, we are seeing that we have to break some of these old traditions when it comes to our life partnerships because, like Lily's saying, they l- they were taught that you could you take somebody as they are, broken, fix whatever. If you love them, you love them.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. But if you can see that they not bringing a whole person to the table and they need work, that's going to cause that worse. No better. It's not going to cause any better. It's going to cause more worse because it's going to make a strain on the relationship.
Right.
So, trying to just break. I think the real conversation is breaking tradition, like, and being okay with that amongst our society and amongst ourselves and our people, and not having the fake, like being like, I'm in this type of relationship, I'm in this, and then setting it up properly. If you still need the business paperwork, get the business paperwork how you need to do it so that everybody is covered.
When
If
I
you don't,
when I
then
found out that we don't get fully
entanglement.
developed brains until like 25 or something, I was like, what, bro? We shouldn't even be talking about marriage. Like, like you don't get a fully developed brain until that age. Like, I just kept thinking about that. Like, no, that's
But
crazy.
that's what traditionally people are like. I got my high school sweetheart, and we've been together. And then you look at him and be like, "But y'all don't look like y'all."
Oh my gosh, Shani said
Sometimes it's work. Sometimes
entanglement.
it's work.
Hey, sometimes entanglements work. Some people are good at getting out of knots. But all I'm
Mhm.
saying is, if your partner's cool with your entanglements and you cool with their entanglements, We just gotta sign an NDA. Like, bruh, you messed it all up. Didn't nobody tell you to run your mouth? That's he broke the soul contract.
That's the other thing. And you see how much slack they getting? People giving this person slack for what they doing in their marriage. Why y'all care about their marriage?
Who
Because
cares, bro? There
they
people.
not they show it's because they're showcasing such a non-traditional marriage that people already knew they had a non-traditional marriage, and now it's coming out to the fold and it's being put to light, and people are like, no, don't show people you can do that. This is our way of controlling people in another way.
Jules said, I think that people have misperceptions of what a real marriage looks like is work and is not for the faint of heart. And I think the misconception is it should be that much work or for the not faint of heart. That's my problem. Why everything gotta be on tugging at your soul on a soul level? You got your own individual work to do. I don't want to be out here trying to drag along a whole nother human and we gotta struggle together. I can't. I don't. Mm-mm.
I mean, it's going to be struggle all the
I'm
time,
struggle. That's
but
not
it's
a struggle.
yeah,
I'm not talking about regular daily struggle. That is hard for any human. Period.
and
That's
that's what I
not
think.
what I'm talking about.
I think that's
I
what
think
makes
there are
it
some
better.
people that
Like
stay in situations and they're exhausted to the point that like, what are you even fighting for anymore? Are you fighting for an ideal? Are you fighting for your feelings, your emotions? Are you being fed emotionally,
that
mentally?
part. Are you fighting for an ideal or that part? And the ideal is, what are people say? What is my mom going to say? What are my friends going to say? What are my church
Most
people
people
going to
walk
say?
down the aisle
What are my
just because
coworkers
of
going to
what they
say?
think people are going to say. If they like in that moment, if they go, "Ooh, maybe I shouldn't do it today." Like, if they have that moment, they will not listen to it for the mere fact that we have to go and face our people. That's it's just real. We are codependent as a culture. We I think we have a strange codependency on each other and our beliefs.
We got a codependency on the struggle. I don't think that everything's supposed to be a struggle. I don't
Yeah.
think, yeah, we done built up like we supposed to struggle. Nah, that's what they told our ass. They
Completely
told our
said
ass we
black
supposed to
lives
struggle.
struggle. I do not. I like to be fun and fancy free. I like to work hard. I've had enough struggle individually, nor do I want to take on
Yeah,
this.
that's more oppressive ways of thinking. Oh, we have to struggle. We have to make, no, there's going to be obstacles.
See these words Shawnee's using: respectful, honor, both voices, like honor your voices, listen to each other, hear each other. I think like those are all important factors, and you can live that way, but you do not have to do it in a way where you come out feeling. No one should feel ashamed to sit in a circle of people that they love and trust and talk about what they relationship looks like, even if it goes against what they think that their folks believe in. We shouldn't be fear expressing what works for us. That's all. We all do different stuff. And that's ultimately why I don't really care what people do. Like, if you love somebody, that's what's up. I'm glad that you could fill your heart up and give it to somebody else. I don't care what you look like, what you do, what you don't do. I really don't care. Where I have a problem is when there are mental instabilities. Like, if you genuinely like an older man, then that's fine. But if you genuinely like an older man because you got some unresolved daddy issues, like, I'm not okay with that. And on the flip side, with women with younger men, if it's traumatic things attached to it, you get some therapy. Make sure you're
That's a
in it for
good,
the right reason.
that's a
But I
good piece of
ultimately
advice.
don't have boundaries when it comes to like who people marry or how their marriage looks or who they with or how many people they with. I don't care what y'all do.
Uh-huh. Big
I
Pops,
need
Big
people to
Pops,
understand me.
Big
Mm,
Pops, Lily's father said to her
mm.
that the struggle should never be between the people, maybe the system, but
A
not the
fact.
people in the
The
marriage.
system. If you got to work
The
around the
system
system,
and life, the little bull scraps, okay?
yep.
But we should be not struggling because we are together to be able to push through that system bull crap harder and faster and
And then we
stronger.
need to check in. We need to update each other. Like we need to be
That's
like,
what mommy said.
yo, we need
Yeah,
some updates. I need to be
yeah.
like, how you feeling in this right now? You good? You satisfied? I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So can we have a conversation about that? And we might be with it, we might not. But like I'm not about to be sitting out here suffering for decades. And I have a conversation for real, like have a real conversation and not be scared about what people gonna think about what stuff and affect them because ultimately everything we do is gonna affect anybody around us anyway, whether you stay together or you don't.
That's why I call it obstacles, Jewel. I call it obstacles. Every relationship has obstacles. So no obstacle is constant. You get over them, you get through them, you get around them. But yeah, I agree with that. That's why I think we got to change some of the language because struggle
I don't think
is
it's
a
I don't think
is
it's
a
like a love
different thing.
story on TV. I think people do understand the struggle, which is why there are so many people in our generation who do not want to be married.
Because they think of it as a struggle.
No, I don't think about it as a struggle. I just don't like what that look like on that side. Like if we're gonna say like what that looks like for our generation, that looks like it's not gonna work because I gotta meet a man that looks like what they saying looks
Like
like
think
and that's
about
not gonna
think.
work for
All
me.
right, let me use this example. When we think about the Huxtable show, we're not gonna use the other name. We're gonna call it the
I
Huxtable
need to
show.
align rather than compromise. Yeah, I'm not about the compromise life.
So when we think about the Huxtable
Alignment
show, right?
is a good
So
word.
right on the Huxtable show, they we didn't see them struggle, but we
Who?
saw them have obstacles.
Who?
The Huxtables,
Right.
Claire and Heathcliff Huxtable.
Right.
I'm not calling it the other name of the show. I'm
They
calling it the
had
Huxtable
first of all that never made sense for the show to be called that anyway. But
show. Right,
um the Huxtables.
the
So
Huxtables.
I agree. We saw obstacles.
We saw lots of different obstacles, and it's not wasn't all the different types of obstacles,
We saw
but
ego
their
coming to that.
relationship.
We
They
saw a
didn't
little bit
struggle in their relationship
they had
though.
some stuff.
They had a lot of stuff, but they didn't struggle in their relationship.
Nope.
And that's what I think
They called each other
we
out.
gotta
They called each
pinpoint
other
these words we're using.
out.
You know what I'm saying? They had obstacles that every relationship has obstacles. When you're struggling, it's like
First of all,
trying
struggle,
to
all I hear is
survive
mental health.
alone in
When I
the
hear
Arctic. That's
struggle, I
struggling.
associate struggle with mental health. Like that is if I'm struggling, I'm associating that with my mental health. Like that is
Yeah, it's like
it's on
survival.
another level, and I don't need my mental health being affected by a human. Mm-mm.
Struggle has to do with survival. Like, think about being alone on an Arctic island, you know what I'm saying, with very little food. That's a struggle. Okay? That's
Exactly.
not an obstacle, that's a struggle.
Right.
Because you stranded, you alone, you struggling the whole
Right.
time. There is no good in that situation. You may see the sun, oh, I got a little sun today. Still struggling, still cold.
So, like, perfect example. You can use something really small, like sleep schedule. My partner may have a completely different sleep schedule than I do. I am not going to compromise my sleep and my state of mind because my partner wants to look at television or off all the lights or turn all the lights on or he snores or doesn't. I just nope. If that becomes a problem for the person I choose to be with, then I'm gonna have to have a conversation. Hey, boo, I'm going to the my little she cave. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna sleep over there, and I will come snuggle when it's time. But I'm gonna go have my space, and sometimes I need space. Like, and I need you to not have an attitude because I want space because I might need to go debrief about life because we are out here being black and in life. Okay, so my
In
only
life.
concern is not you.
And our life is a struggle.
Can
So we don't need no relationships that are
I just give
struggling.
you a kiss? Be like, you cute and all. I'm going to bed. Like,
That's what we shouldn't carry into our partnerships is our life struggles.
Shani said
Like,
she might stay up a little later to watch TV with him, but I'll go to bed. And Shani will smack go to bed. She'll go to bed right in your face.
yeah, everybody should be okay. And that's
It's
what we're
not the
talking
wrong,
about,
it's
Jewel.
not the
Yeah,
wrong language, Jewel. It's just, it's really the standard that we're talking about. Those are words that come along with that standard. And I want people to think about it more on an emotional, mental level, like really feel the energy of your partnership and not make it about these, make it about principles and not rules.
that's actually part of what is like in the Bible, in the Torah. It talks about marriage. It makes it seem like it's supposed to be a struggle. It's written like that. So these traditions have been rooted from things that say it's supposed to be like that. That were, come on, why would that be written like that? Really? To
It
control people
just
so that you
sounds,
can give them the
so how
advice.
I look at it is all a part of control. A system is about control. Any
Mhm.
system is about organization and control.
And that's why I talk about the business side of the relationship of a life partnership of a
Because
marriage
that was about
in
keeping people
America.
in line. Marriage, the way that we set it up in America, was about keeping people in line. But what I am saying is, we are still human. We still have all these other things happening that that don't necessarily align with these rules, right? And you might be feeling something else, or you might be battling something else, and then you look down upon it if you battle it, if you question it. But you might just have a valid question. It might not align with you. It might not align with your energy. You may not move in that way. Like, I think the misconception is, it was a great status I put up the other day. If a man goes outside of his, we'll say, like, if you're in a monogamous situation, that could be a marriage or a relationship, right? If a man goes outside of that and sleeps with somebody, does he still love his woman?
Yes.
So I said yes. It was a whole great battle. And
Why wouldn't he love his woman if he
because
loved?
apparently we have now equated love with monogamy.
Hmm.
So that was what came up the most, was monogamy. I was like, I didn't say nothing about monogamy. I said, if he has a girl and he slept with somebody else, does he still love her? Right? I just, love is a feeling, it's an emotion.
Hmm.
Whatever reason he went and did what he did, does he respect her? No, that's disrespectful if she doesn't know what you're doing.
Disrespectful.
You're
Does he
disrespectful.
does he honor whatever their agreement is? Probably
Probably
not.
not. Probably
See,
not.
that's
But
all in what
what's
Shawnee
that got to
said.
do with
Respect.
love? He loved
Does
her.
he love her?
He just didn't follow the
Absolutely.
rules.
Right. He didn't follow the rules
On a
that
soul level,
they had.
they have a connection, but they have a soul contract on a 5D level, but on a 3D level, he broke their
Now, let's
soul
take that to
contract.
another realm. What if he did follow the rules? What if he did sleep with another woman, but it was in their contract that that was okay,
He still loved her.
XYZ?
He
He
probably loved
still
her
loves
more.
her. He still loves her, right? And guess what? Their relationship good because you didn't say in the jump she did not know about his uh infidelity or whatever that they call it infidelity. If it's okay, it's not infidelity, it's not cheating. If it's in their contract. See, these are the parts of the things that why would that be in the contract? I- Listen,
Why would what be
they
in the contract?
that's their contract. Don't I ask them,
Hey,
okay?
son, this stuff,
You
and
don't have to
everybody,
put it in your contract.
I was a freelancer for many years.
You
Okay,
don't have to put it in your contract.
my contract does not say what everybody's contract say.
What?
You better read it. You know what I'm saying? Like, read that. You better read the contract. But that's the reality of it, is that people don't express what their contract is. Some people don't even know what kind of contract they're going into. People make the assumption that you go, oh, we're getting married. You're getting married? Okay, we're getting married. And this is what we believe marriage is.
Hmm.
But do they have the real conversation that this is what marriage is? Or do they actually go, this is what I was told marriage is, so this is what we got to follow? Or have they had a conversation? Like, do we just say, do you believe in marriage? But do we say what we think marriage is? We go, do you believe in marriage? Do you want to get married? But do we go, what does marriage look like for you?
Right. And that and Drew brought up a point about disciplining children being a resolution or an alignment. Is that in a resolution, an alignment, or a compromise? I think that's an alignment because before you get into marriage or once you decide to have children while you're in the relationship, whatever the life partnership is, because having children is a life partnership. If you didn't plan on it, but you do it, now you're a
Wait,
life partners.
oh, you mean disciplining children?
Right.
Oh,
So,
what each party thinks about discipline.
yes, that's supposed to be an alignment. You need to
That's
come
not a
together.
compromise. That needs to
That's
be
not a compromise at all. There's no like, well, you could do no. It's like we need to align on the both doing the
anything you teaching your
proper,
children needs to be a partnership.
especially with
It should
discipline,
be
and you need to
co-creating.
uphold each other's disciplinary
And I love
actions
that word,
that
Matt.
you agree with. Huh?
Co-creating is a really important word for us. And like
Ah,
co-creating your life, co-creating your partnership, co-creating your what you want your parenting to look like with your children. It's super important. If you're not on the same page, I'm gonna tell you right now, your kids gonna know and they gonna use it because that's what kids do. Like we knew exactly what to do with my parents because we figured their personalities out real fast. We knew who to go to. We knew who was going to do what. We knew who was going to spank us versus not. You know what I'm saying? And but the other thing is, we also kind of saw when there were days where one of them didn't like how the other one handled it.
mhm. Well,
But
that's what Jule is talking about. When you make the most of the decisions in your family, but it doesn't always agree with your partner, how do you
what do you do?
come to a resolution on that? And it's really like if that's your relationship and it's like, that's how it is, there's going to be disagreements in that. The resolution is figuring out, okay, what things um do you want input, if you because sometimes there is an imbalance of certain things, like so one person sometimes has a load of this,
Right.
and this person may not have as much into that particular role, but they got a lot to say about that. So you got to start to say, well, look, do you want more input into this role? Then you have to take on more responsibility in this role to have more input.
But that's
If
why I said you
not,
gotta check in.
that's how but that's between you of how you come up with that resolution of saying what are we going to do
Right.
to
So
create that
Matthew,
compromise.
so what Shanice said, she said alignment is when you decide to honor something that is mutually agreed upon rather than someone giving up something for someone else. I don't like that people walk away from situations feeling like they gave up something. It's the verbiage we use. Like giving up something and sacrificing for another human that you're in a partnership with, it just feels like you always indebted. Instead of having an alignment because we really feeling how what direction we want to go. And then when we feel like maybe somebody's a little off kilter, like let's have a conversation. Like I can't do this like for better or for worse mean.
Right, I
Does that
love
mean that
that.
I'm struggling mentally? Does that mean
Right,
that you struggling mentally? I don't know what that means. I don't know what worse means.
right. And then Shawnee is like, because that is a compromise, is giving something up for someone else. An alignment is honoring, like you said, that mutually agreed upon. But she made a good point above that,
Right.
saying
Oh,
that
the very
I can't get to it. Damn, oh, now it wants to move. Gosh damn it. Um, she was talking about like we are self-motivated creatures. So I am honoring myself when I choose to get into this partnership and honor these rules that we come up together. It's yourself. So when
right.
she said when it keeps her in line, it keeps us in line when we honor ourselves, the decision and the choice we made for ourselves.
Hmm.
You see, being true to yourself
Right.
is the key to all of that. So when you do waver or get frustrated, like she said, you got to look at yourself like, am I honoring myself? because we can. It's she also said
Woo!
it's
We
easier for us to
sacrifice ourselves real fast, okay?
right because she said it's easier for us to break someone else's rules, but when you make a rule on yourself, sometimes it's easier to break those too because you're like, fuck it, I
Here's
made
the
the rule.
problem. I've
That's
talked
how I think. But I'm
about
a
I've
Taurus
talked
and
about
I'm weird.
I've talked about this a lot. When we break promises to ourselves, we have got to be strong in ourselves and what we believe in before we go and make a contract with somebody. Would you give a contract to somebody in a business without understanding exactly what contract you just gave them to sign? So why are we doing that in our relationships? That's the problem. That's what's wrong with all of us. It's like if we wouldn't do that in business, like if it's a business, why myself to give or sign a contract that I'm not even fully aware was in this jump? I didn't even read this jump.
Hmm.
I saw the word marriage and was like, wedding, marriage, that's what it is. And you're
I'm
like,
in.
okay, I'm gonna sign this contract. That's what's
Sign
up. Sign
away.
on that dotted line. And then you get into marriage and you like,
Don't
oh, by the
nobody
way, you
bring
know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put
nobody
my
bring
kids,
no amendments to the
I'm gonna
contract.
put my
Oh, I
kids
got
in this. I'm gonna, Matt, I'm gonna put my kids in this church, this Catholic church down the street, and I'm gonna put my and then the judge's like, I'm gonna put my kids over here in this daycare, this completely different type of daycare, and they look at each other and they're like, what you gonna do? People don't know, have any idea what they actually like have agreed upon. That's the problem. They've never even, we have never said it to ourselves until we get grown and start asking questions like, what is marriage? Like we out here training to be married and we don't even know what it means.
Lily, tell him to holler at Rhonda. It's like, that was hilarious. Oh,
If I cheat on my husband, I'm dishonoring my decision, not his commitment to me. Wait,
right.
if I'm married,
Yes.
if I cheat on my husband, I am dishonoring my decision,
Right.
not his commitment. Right, right. But and I think that's where we kind of lose our way is that ultimately you made a promise to somebody else, but really you made a promise to yourself. Like
Uh,
that, you made a promise to yourself. Because if you're promising something in a union to someone else, that's also a promise you make it to yourself. So ultimately, you're really just breaking promises all around. But this is also why these promises shouldn't be promises. They should just be like, this is what I like to see, and I would like to see that from you. And what you like to see? Okay, cool. I'm with it. Let's go. Like
I'm just
I
saying.
don't wanna I don't wanna
She woke. She
I
young-minded,
think you gotta
but grown as hell.
no. Yes, I said I was ready. Right. So I was telling somebody else that marriage is an actual choice. It is it's not necessarily a choice to be like you love somebody. It is a choice to make a commitment, have a relationship, be monogamous, be married. Those are choices. If that is the choice you are making, you still have to acknowledge what you need to be in that contract. What are our roles in these positions? Will our dating relationship look like our married relationship? Will our situation shift when we have kids? Of course it will. You know what I'm saying? But like some people actually keep a mindset that like they think those things shouldn't change. And then that's where it all goes downhill. You know, I just don't understand how we don't allow for like humans to evolve. And that's my concern about this structure that we've created because I think it's based on the wrong things. It's like you can't don't step outside the marriage. Oh, like okay, how about we figure out why they wanted to step out of the marriage, what was going on, what's the backstory? Are y'all supposed to be together? Like, like, is that the betrayal? Is that everybody's betrayal? Does marriage mean monogamy? Is that immediate? Is that what that means, Matthew?
Some people, if that's their choice. Like
No,
she said,
that's
some people are in love and they just stay partners forever. Like it happens. Um, like and then she
no.
said
I'm asking, does marriage immediately equate monogamy?
to some people it does.
No, no, we talking about, no, we talking about standard, the standard.
Yeah, the standard. Yeah, that's what they. Yeah, the standard. The traditional way is yes. Right.
Lily said, according to the law and the Bible, adultery is against the law and it's a sin. Right. But again,
Oh, yeah.
structures built to keep us in line.
It's only adultery if you don't agree with it.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
it.
pretty much just about people agreeing. Like, I'm really just about people agreeing and being aligned. Like, I don't actually, that doesn't mean that I believe in monogamy or not. It's just like, I just believe in us being
I
aligned.
believe it's good for some people. I believe
How we
it's good.
move.
Like some people will be cool with it. I could be okay with it. I'm not like, oh yeah, I got to have. Like I could be okay with it. I don't know how long. I can't say how long. Maybe 10 years. Maybe
I just
15
don't
years.
like people lying.
Maybe
So
20 years. I don't know. Maybe
I don't
5.
want to
I don't
lie.
know.
I want to be aware of what's going on so I can make a decision. That's it. And
Right.
don't be coming out here like bringing home things that are gonna affect my life, like just random things, you know, children, death, diseases, people, you know. They'll be a messy human, but I don't want to be with any messy human on any
Tell us
level.
about it, Lily. What's it say? I
I'm
seen it.
just,
I don't.
I'm
Don't
just
get
saying
me.
what the book
I know. I
said.
don't know what it say though. I don't,
The marriage certificate. I have seen the marriage
but I don't
certificate,
know what it say.
but again, that's a business contract.
Is it contract? Can't I got a question? Can't you change your contract though? You can write in whatever you want into your contract. Why don't people do that more? Is that a thing? Can you do that, or can you not do that? I don't know.
What?
I haven't been
You
down
your
this road.
vows?
Not just your vows, but in like the contract that you do with your marriage, like
A marriage certificate?
because people talk about the prenups and all that, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yep, yeah.
but that's just that's an amendment to the original. Like it's like a regular marriage certificate or regular marriage is like
It
a
says the
general
same thing.
contract, right?
Yes.
Most people don't add amendments and revisions to the contract. That's not what I think the problem is. There are no revisions or amendments added or taken away or things changed in the contract before. They just like, oh, this is the papers, and they like, and then they don't know when something happens 20 years down the line and they're not ready to be in that contract anymore, and they realize this is a binding contract and I have to do this. I didn't know I had to. Shit, what the fuck? I didn't read all this, and they be mad.
First of all, y'all, I don't know why people think that having a black man or a black woman signing papers is something that like we really enjoy doing. Like there's PTSD there too. And so you want people to sign their lives away. Okay. We was walking around trying to get freedom papers and now we gotta sign our lives away to our partner. Why did we even set it up like that? Like like I could be with a person forever and I not sign no paper. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like we set it up with all this other stuff because of taxes and money and government and all this other extra stuff. And it's just weird.
It's only a sin if you believe in sin.
Right.
I'm just
Like
messing with you, but it breaks
we
rules.
believe in sin on that level.
It breaks your contract regardless, and it breaches the agreement. Absolutely, breaching the agreement. That's why I want to talk about it like that. I ain't gonna say sin,
Wait a
breaching the
minute. Sonny
agreement.
said I want them papers. Like, nah. I mean, receipts. What you need receipts for?
Right.
Why you need receipts, Shane?
what people think about
But
marriage. Ah, I got a lot
so
going
for
on.
me, wait. Oh yes, American Christians believe marriage is monogamous. Correct.
Right.
Correct. People don't act. So we be ready to condemn a whole world, and the whole world don't move in American Christian beliefs. So sometimes we look at other cultures like, "Oh, that's weird. Oh, y'all letting that happen? Oh my God, I would never let that happen." If that's what you was raised in, and that's what you all you saw. It wouldn't look weird to you. It look just like this would look. We might look weird to them. That's so crazy. We be ready like religions can easily condemn a whole
Mindset.
living. What I'm saying, y'all customizing your life, that blueprint. You know what I'm saying? In most cases, I need to send him back. Oh. Nah, prenups, but see, that's unnecessary too. I shouldn't have to have a prenup. I should be able to have a conversation with you and be like, what's up? Also, like the money thing, like all of that stuff, everything. Look, I got a lot of things about marriage. I do a lot of the standards and rules and the weird, like, oh, take this person's name and you got to do this and you got to just erase your whole life. And I don't like. There's a whole lot of stuff as a female that I'm just like, I ain't with it. And I don't understand it because I came here by myself and I'm gonna leave by myself. You
Mm,
can't come with me.
mm.
We can make a combined name for the children. That'd be their new name, and then that name could go with them and their kids. Here's the combined name. There you go. Boom. I'm me. He's him.
Mhm.
And I think that's like, but that's still being able to like, we cool with each other. You know what I'm saying? We are partners, and we have this. We're building this life together, and you have your identity, and I have my identity, and you have your family stuff, and I got my family stuff, and then we combined all our things.
That's what I'm saying though, Lily. In the contract, it's only illegal if it's against if it's cheating. If it's not cheating, it's not illegal. Now they will say that's sex outside of marriage, but if you write a contract, if
Depends on where
you
you are. It
this
doesn't
is this is
hold for
this
every.
is this is when it gets tricky.
Doesn't
You
hold up
have
for everywhere.
you have to have it a legal document saying that these things are okay. These are what we agree upon in our marriage that can hold up someone being vindictive and then using these traditional bullcrap rules that are based on bullshit. You know what I mean? That's a stupid rule because it's based upon crap. It's based upon the freaking Euro colonistic religious patriarchal system. And I had to get it in one
Well,
time today.
Sharmy, they
I
can
ain't
do
say
what
it
they
yet.
want. They can do what they want, but the reason I'm bringing
Frick.
this topic up is because it is not looked is looked down upon. You don't get celebrated with a common law marriage, you know? Like there's so many things that go along with this idea of like the marriage on paper, right? There's all these things that people do. There's all these things how people look at you. It's
And then they make
all
all
of a
these
sudden you
rules.
got some like extra superhuman
They
wisdom.
they
And
make
like
all these rules about it too.
and
They
so
make
then they
all
make
these
you
rules.
feel a certain type of way if you don't want to get married. And then there's rules and laws and benefits and and there's all these things that align with that contract. And most of the time, that's what people are working with.
Right. That's right, Lily. Most people think that a prenup is about money. A prenuptial agreement. It's a contract.
Here's a
It's a
contract.
pre-marriage, nuptials, marriage, pre-binding, nuptial binding of two people, pre-binding agreement. Before we bind, we agree to this. And so now the media, we're gonna go to propaganda now. Back to it.
Yeah,
We always with it.
always comes
The
back.
media propagates. Excuse me. The media propagates these things in marriage that that it's all about money. They
Why we
propagate
gotta have
that
a support group for
for the
non-traditional
system.
marriages? Why can't we just respect that everybody lives a different way in their household? Like that's my issue. Why I gotta have support? Why can't I just have talk to people? Humans are humans. Like emotions are emotions. It doesn't really even matter what your situation is. Your emotions are emotions. Connections are connections. It don't matter what the rules are, whatever label we put on it. That's my issue. It don't change what those feelings are.
Right. I mean, I think it's bigger than just support groups, Shawnee. I think it's getting people to not be
Because this country
judgmental
doesn't do that. I mean,
because
that's what we talking
according to a systematic
about.
like way of thinking, like why do y'all judge them on something that doesn't that's a systematic way of thinking? Um Breaking the conditioning is hard. Yes.
It's more about like-minded people, Shani. It's more about I'm
I
trying
agree with
to
that though.
share information. It's not about judging, but I want people to understand that there may be things tied to if they feel like they're struggling to keep a marriage together, then people maybe need to sit back and look at the system that we are mostly following and the system that they have chosen to follow to see if it's like they just need to know it's okay to look at that and rearrange it. That is really the conversation I'm having. That if it's not working for you, if you feel like you are struggling, that you have compromised yourself, that you are not aligned with your partner, then it's time to have a conversation with your partner. Like whether we have a village or not, like yeah, a village is cool and the community is cool and like-minded people is great, but ultimately you're still being judged. Like it's not going you can't ignore that. Can't ignore it. It's everywhere. It's like it's everywhere. It's all over the place. And so there's always going to be these discussions. Like then you have to like be like, no, kids, it's okay. Like this is how we live, and it's always going to be that conversation.
Yeah, I agree,
I don't
Shawnee.
want to
Like
live in a world where we have to keep defending our
it's about
choices.
the community. I agree. It's about the community. I agree that we do have to start small within and like start. And I think that's why we have these conversations to really figure out. Right. We really doing this so that we can just like open it up and start this dialogue within our community and like really
And that's
look.
why I started
So if
with
I do something non-traditional, I don't need none of y'all judging me.
right.
So,
And the reality of it is that's why I said what I said earlier, Matthew, which is I had already hesitated.
warning, warning.
Matthew had already hesitated to even bring up the topic because it was like, oh Lord, I gotta go against everything that everybody thinks I was raised in. But let me tell you something about my mother. Okay, she's a special lady. And my mother
Rhonda Gladys, she's wonderful.
did not raise me to be a wife. She raised me to be a compassionate and empathetic woman and to treat people as such and to make sure that I am doing the things that align with me to make me happy, and to only share that happiness with people who deserve my time and value me and my greatness. She did not tell me to go be this, that, this, or the other. Now, we were raised in Christianity, so subconsciously, yes, we were raised in that. And I was fully on board for a very long time until I realized it was not going to work for me in that manner. So that's where we at with that. But my mom really encouraged us to really just be happy and love wholeheartedly and to respect ourselves and respect your partner and respect the people around you. But she didn't say like, dude, go do this. Like she taught my brother to respect women. Now whatever we got from the outside from people and our friends and media and anything like that, I mean, that's life. Can't protect the kids from everything, right? But ultimately, she taught us to be open, to not judge other people's situations because everybody's family situation was different. Everybody's life is different. And we were different. So she mostly taught us that because we were different. We were the ones being looked at strange, you know. But we were all right. We made it through. People learned weird things about us, and we shared the information, such as I am doing now. It's really what my mom and my dad taught us at our core level, which with Kwanzaa, and they taught us that whatever they taught us, if it aligned with us, then we teach other people. So this is not even about us individually, though. It's really about healing our community and looking at the things in our community that maybe not be benefiting us to our best of abilities. Are we putting people in a situation where they can rock it out and shine in a relationship? Are we really setting them up so that they can have a real village and a real support system? Are we really building a structure for a marriage, for family units, for these structures for us to thrive? I don't think we prepared for that. I think that we're gonna suffer. I think that we suffer in silence all the time. I think we suffered in slavery and we're still suffering now, which is why we are still enslaved now. We don't have to suffer. Everybody always telling us you gotta do this and we gotta be extra and we gotta be extra better and we gotta be extra this and we gotta hold up all these things. We gotta be a role model. And we're like, what? We can't do all of that. I'm still a human. I got my own problems. I'm still trying to make myself make sense. I ain't got time to make sense with you. Okay. You go make sense, bro, and then I'm gonna go make sense, and then we can put this sense together
Do
and
we
have a
both have a cent, and
$2.
then we can raise 2 cents?
I got $2, and I
Ain't
got
no such thing as half a cent. Can't put half a
you got
cent to
your
nothing.
dollar, and I got my dollar, and then we put them dollars together, and then we get dollars. Okay.
Nah, cause see, people will think they can come with 75 cent. They can come with
I
50
said a
cent. No,
dollar. I said you gotta come with a dollar.
I like the 1 cent, cause it
I
ain't
don't
no half. You can't
want
spend
no
half a cent.
don't come with no
Some
one.
people can spend half a dollar.
Come with a dollar.
Some people try to make a dollar out of 15 cent.
You heard what I said? Come with a dollar, cause I might need to split the dollar sometimes. You know? Life happens. Mentally, I might not. You know, people have breakdowns out here. like life is rough out here sometimes. I think that's the other thing. I think we have to respect that some people need space, and it don't mean I love you less. It doesn't mean that I don't want to spend time with you and build my family and be all up on you. But sometimes I don't want to, and sometimes I need to debrief from the world, and sometimes you need to debrief, and sometimes we need to get away from each other. And sometimes we need to be like peanut butter jelly, you know. But it don't mean I'm doing this or betraying you or betraying our contract or whatever weird contract we have come up with. But I can't take the pressure of the societal things that we think are the right things to do to keep your partner and your family in line. You know, there's these control factors that come in, and now we have put those same rules in dating. So we're dealing with the stress of a marriage contract in dating to even get to a marriage. So what you telling me is ain't nobody having a carefree relationship out here at all. Like you just out here struggling out in life. So we go from trying to get to a level where you would even think about marrying each other, which I guarantee came with some hiccups, you know, and growth. And then you get to this point where you get into a marriage. Now you about to get into this new box. So we just doing the same thing. I don't know. You know, like my thing is, I think the standards for dating are stressful. How do you get to know your partner if you trying to uphold all these weird rules in dating to even get to the marriage? Hello, Maddie?
My mic was muted.
Yeah, clearly.
Ah, I said you spread all over the bread. That's the right way to do it.
There's no right way to
It's
make
like
sense.
nah.
Oh,
I don't think it's about compromise. Like we talked about that. It's alignment. We're gonna change the word, not
Yeah,
compromise.
alignment,
Alignment. We're
alignment.
not struggling. We have obstacles. We don't compromise. We align.
No, but dating the fact that it even has the same standards as a marriage is why it's so
They're
stressful.
effing and vicing. What is that?
Oh,
What are
that
you saying?
he's not talking about dating. She's talking about casual sex. Right. Well,
That's a whole nut.
compromise is a struggle. That is the whole point of a compromise is giving up something
Hmm.
it's giving up something.
You said
Alignment
it's
is not a struggle, but compromise, that's still you giving up something
because see, in an
that you
alignment may mean that you don't give it up. It may mean that it works in a certain situation. It may mean that it works in um different arenas, but it doesn't mean that it's given up. You see what I'm saying? It may be saying that you can do that, we can do that at this time of day, or I don't know, instead of not
I feel like that's an
instead of
agreement.
not at all.
I don't feel like that's a compromise. I feel like that's an agreement. Like we just gonna agree. Like you take this one this time, and I'm gonna take the next one. But I don't feel like that's see that word compromise is tricky. That word compromise to me is on a whole nother level. An agreement is like I agree, we agree,
Right, right.
and
The
we're gonna agree to
ratio of
disagree.
alignment to compromise. There we go. Let's do that. Okay, because there is some compromise. Some things you just got to be like, look, we're gonna have to compromise on this one. But
That's
the
why I said
ratio
the
needs to
agreement.
be more alignment, more
You shouldn't
alignment,
be compromising things that you align that
compromise,
you're
alignment, compromise. Right.
like it should be like alignment and hey, I'm over
I
here,
say that, John Lily.
still on the line, but not over here. Most people think this is what compromising looks like in where we live. Okay, this is what compromising looks like. This I'm taking this off of me. Here's my alignment. My now I'm throwing it over here,
And now you like this
and
because
now
you're
you
not
like
aligned
this.
no more. Right. Your shit off.
But if you're
Your
aligned
shit,
and you
your
just
shit ain't
have made an agreement, you made an agreement to agree to disagree. Really, what it is, we ain't compromised. We just agreed to disagree. One took it and one didn't. You get one, I get one.
Today is your time. Today we could try your way.
Right,
My way didn't work. Let's try your way this time. That's alignment. Because it may not be that this is a wrong, this or that. It may be like not this right now, or
right,
maybe
Lily.
let's try this right now. You should be with
You should
someone
be
who is
with
not
someone who is
expecting you
not
to
taking
make concessions from your core being. That's all I mean. Yeah.
right. Shared vision and values. Too much compromise is a symptom of a lack of shared vision and values. You'll always have some, but marriage should not be full of compromise. Right. Because that means that you're not aligned. If you're compromising whole entire situations, like you're not aligned at that moment.
People's relationships are compromised. The whole relationship, the whole thing, they compromise the whole thing. That's unacceptable.
Mm-mm. We can compromise on where we eating, how you do the dishes, but to compromise myself, right? Yeah, no, yeah. We can create a blueprint. We can co-create what we gonna do with these dishes and who gonna do what in the house. We can co-create that, but I ain't fitting the I ain't about to compromise. Like we can co-create that though. You say what? You want to do that? Cool. All right. Because
Right. You
ultimately, I don't want
compromise
to
to
walk away
yield
and
public
be
school
mad.
so they go to private school, but your alignment about their education is the same. You want them to have a
Well, at least they
valued
should be
education
right. Right.
regardless. So, If the private school not giving the value, then you try some public school. That's why then when he go, I got to come to compromise. You see what I'm saying?
But
That's when you're aligned on the same vision.
it has to be based on the core, which is the valued education. So when you then
Right,
look at
which is y'all vision
cons,
for them,
the pros and cons of those two establishments to
the
see which
arrowhead,
one works the best for your vision in the education, which is the core value, which
the
is the
arrowhead.
base, right? So that's I think the part that people have to understand. Like you might have your own views about public versus private.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But ultimately, what is our core that we're trying to accomplish? A good education, something that offers this, this, and that. All right, cool. Let's see which one of these takes that. I don't want to pay for this, but it's got what we thought we said we wanted. Or, we can't afford this right now, but this right now will align with this and we'll work towards that. You know what I'm saying? We'll try this out. But like it can't be something that every day you looking at like, public school and I cannot believe I can't believe that
Because
they in private
hey,
school. Like it can't
we
be something
know
that every day you looking at like, that was his choice.
we know plenty
That
of
was
people that
her
we
choice.
grew up
Like,
with. We know people that have kids now where one kid may go to private school, the other one may go to public school. Went to private school, didn't work for that one. They better over here, or the activities or something, the facilities or something is better in the public school for this child, and then the private school is better for this child because it's a different environment. It's all about, this is a perfect example of how alignment is about the vision and compromise is about, okay, we can try this, we can try that.
alignment is not a choice though. Alignment are your core values, those things that make you who you are.
That goes into your contract. That's part of your contract,
It's,
actually.
it's like it's the whole entire foundation. It's just who you are. That alignment has to be so much of like where you are so that you can even understand if y'all are on the same page. Like, are we in the same book? Some people don't even be in the same book.
Hmm.
They don't even be in the same library. But they be like, you know what? I'll just stop doing this because they really, you know, don't
Thank
they
you, Rhonda and Koya. I
oh,
love my espresso machine. It's a shameless plug.
this guy. So like when I think about it, I don't want to walk away and feel resentful of my partner because at some point I let go of a core value or something I really wanted to see happen in my relationship or something that I wanted to try or something, that I saw in my vision and maybe I decided not to express it and I decided to break that promise to myself because I was like, oh my God, well, he's going to react this way if I even bring this up. That is that no. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And most people, when you compromise, like it's gonna be one person compromising way more than the other person, and then you just out here salty
Mm.
and tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then that's not good.
Mommy talks about the assumption, like you should know who you are before sharing space with another human, because there's so much is assumed, so much like you think that somebody's going to be this way, they're going to, you know, have the same values, etc. as you, but
The
eh,
reason I'm
you
squashing the
come to
word
find out.
Lily is because I realize where we are from, what we do. We don't understand what the real concept is of compromise. I'm actually speaking on what people actually do, and it's not what it's supposed to be. It's unhealthy, and it's more about just giving up a part of something so the other person can have what they desired in that moment. Like that's what it's really based on here. That's why I don't like that word. Like that's what it looks like. That's why it's always unhealthy because that's what it really looks like. Like, and alignment is really about like you coming in feeling that way and this is what you believe in. And then this person is feeling that way. And now we coming in, we co-creating. And does it make sense together? Like, does it mix? Or like, are you eating sardines and peanut butter? You know? Is it peanut butter jelly or we eating sardines and peanut butter?
Hmm.
You know? Is it peanut butter and fluff? You know what I'm saying? Is it peanut butter and unicorn sprinkles? I don't know. Is it almond butter? It can be all of those things, right? But I don't want the sardines and peanut butter. I don't need to have that when there's all these other choices. I don't have to have sardines and peanut butter if I can have all these different types of peanut butter and nut butters and all these other things. Sometimes people take the sardines and the peanut butter because they're not sure that they can get another type of peanut butter because they're allergic to peanuts.
Hold on. Hold on. So they dying, but they gonna do it anyway? What the fudge?
Is that not what people
Fr-
do?
Fudgery. Fudgery.
There are not people dying in relationships and they're just staying it because they wanted peanut butter. Well, I know I'm allergic, but I want peanut butter though.
Oh, is that a question for the married people, Lily?
What was the
Lily
question?
asked all of you married folks, we have a few of them and prior married people, if your partner breaks a rule that goes against your core value system, is the marriage over? Do 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 do
Oh,
do 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 do
against your core
do
value
do
system.
do do do. um, Boom, 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 boom. All right. Do we have your answers?
Shelly said we do what works for us, and that's all we trying to say is that there are most people are not. They just suffering through stuff, and that's the problem.
Okay. I love that answer. Jules says, never say
Yeah.
what you won't do. It really depends on the situation.
That
I
is really,
love that. I freaking
I believe that's the.
love
I always tell
that
people that's a jinx. Like when you
because when
do
you
that,
think about
that is a
your,
jinx. When you be like, I would
when you
never
think,
do that. Like,
some people, yeah, they say like, and this is my icebreaker. This is my deal breaker, whatever. You know what I meant. This is my deal breaker. I'm gonna
this is
leave.
my icebreaker.
I was, you know what you can do. Um, so
Suffering is a choice.
I think it's
For cheating.
definitely
Suffering is absolutely a
never
choice.
say never.
Yeah, never say never for sure. For me, that won't be my first reaction because I know most issues in marriage are symptom of other things I'm willing to give it a good fight. My non-negotiables are safety issues. Yeah,
Yeah, non-negotiables should always be like
non-negotiables definitely like
life.
safety, food, children, mental health,
If any of those
physical.
things are compromised in any way, those are no-goes. Those are like
Yeah,
out right now. Like I'm not
yeah.
even like right now.
How do you
Like
know who is suffering? I mean, well, that's different for everybody as far as like how
well,
everybody's
I think
different.
if you've been with somebody for even newlyweds, they were dating for some point in time, except for 90 Day Fiance or whatever, like stupid stuff like that, or people that just like whatever. Usually, it's a good year of time. So by the time you're married, you start to be able to feel. I think people need more the empathy. Who said it? Shawnee. There we go. I was just about to say it. Empathy. We got to tap into what we feel those feelings. Like if you feel something is off, and then if you can't communicate before you get into a life partnership, you're not going to be able to communicate in the life partnership. So if you're not having those questions before y'all get together, like when you start to feel those small things before the big issues come, and you're not bringing that up, then I don't think that is going to resonate in the marriage either. So it all goes back to like
But wait,
really.
so Jules saying, how do you know who is suffering? Um, well, that depends on who's actually paying attention to.
That's what I'm answering. Yeah, that's what I'm
Um,
actually answering.
but that's not. But that. Like, how do you know who is suffering though? Like,
You
I
have
don't
to.
feel like that's a different question, Matt. Then I feel like you're more answering like about suffering in general. Like,
Well, that's how you get to know who is suffering.
well, no, who is suffering
And then the next
is
thing is
intuitive. Okay,
that's what I'm saying though. That's what I just said.
I
I
mean,
just said it's about tapping in and feeling that. And
well, unless
we
you're
have to out
explaining.
yeah, I'm saying that we have to start doing that before the
Or being
marriage
cognitive, being mindful of.
so that you can have those conversations so that as you get into a marriage when there are bigger things that someone is going through and you know that you already have built up the strength to communicate with each other about it. If you don't do that, and if you're already in a marriage and you don't doing that, then you have to just do it. I feel like some things you got to jump off the ledge and you got
The
to
person
be like, "Are
knows,
you okay?"
the person knows that they are suffering. Some people suffer beautifully. Now that's all facts. Because
Mhm.
for me, I'm different. I mean, I can kind of see it around people, but I've always paid attention to just humans because I think humans are interesting. But you can see people suffering. You can see when people faking and hiding suffering. But
Shawnee dumb.
suffering in silence, right? People suffer in silence all the time. And no, you can't always see what suffering looks like. But it is super important that you can at least see your partner suffering. In
Mhm.
some, you should be in tune enough that you can kind of see something is a little off kilter.
And to answer
People
that
make
question,
judgments on the
Shelly,
outside.
people need to do therapy. Like I think that we're not doing enough mental health.
Who did not know they were abused. Oh,
Period.
yeah.
We're just not doing enough, like to understand how we should handle these things. Like
Are
we're
they
just not
shocked,
conditioning us.
Johnny? Are they shocked because what they see as norm, that at some point that's a normal behavior that they're doing? They
Yeah,
they
there
see
are
nothing in it.
some of them are conditioned to it and they don't realize they're attracting what they may have grown up in or been a condition to because that's what they know. So
Yeah, like
they accept it.
yeah, like our grandparents' generation taught people, to push through it and work through it, and we don't quit and we don't divorce, and we got to push through it, and you push through the alcoholism, and you push through the abuse, and you push
Dumbness
through this,
sometimes.
and you pushing through all of these things, right? And you pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, and then you pushing out kids. Now you pushing kids out with that same trauma coming off of them. Now they having kids with the same trauma coming off of them, and you don't even know why you following it. Like that's the
Ooh,
problem. We don't even know why we're following it, and it's coming through the womb, and it's coming through our children, and it's coming through the grandkids, it's coming through everything, and it's like, um, so I'm sorry, I was just reading. So is I think that people have to understand that everybody's normalcy can be look different. And when we just say the word marriage, we have to be very specific what that looks like, because my parents' marriage didn't look like your parents' marriage. Your parents maybe had another different situation. And then you got to look at why the situation went the way it went, and what their issues were in the marriage. Like, we don't know all of that stuff. So ultimately, if you're telling people out here to just go get married, and they
fudge.
don't and they got some weird idea of marriage, or they got an unhealthy idea of marriage, but they think it's normal. Do you know how many people I've had to tell them they were in a toxic relationship, and they looked at me like, "What are you talking about? This is normal. Everyone does this." And I'm like, "What? Everyone does not do this." Like, and if they are, I don't want it. Like, So there are so many people who think that what they know is what it is. And if you do not have these conversations, you won't ever know that there's something else, that a lighter situation that doesn't, affect your mental health.
Trying
There may
it's
be
not like
things that could bother you that you may think are little, and somebody else may think it is a catastrophe. But at some point, you got to step back, not be in denial, not look at the standards, not care about the box, not care about what your family's going to say. And you have to look at yourself, look in the mirror, and be like, am I actually happy? Is this what I fulfilling, my core things, my values? Am I fulfilling the things that I want? Am I following the path I want? And is my partner in that same feeling, in that same light on their end? And together, are we lighting up the walkway, or are we out here looking like Jedi's, and one of us got a blue jump and one of us got a red jump? Like, I don't know what we looking like right now. Are we making purple? Are we electrocuting each other? Because you got the blue and the red. What's up? We making this purple? Oh, you about to one of us about to die. Like who gonna die? Who gonna live with one arm and suffer in silence? Because I'm not. I would like both limbs, please. All of them. I don't want to suffer. I have suffered individually in life. I have done enough in this world on my own, and I'm cool. Like I'd rather just be able to like co-create with somebody, and I don't want to be worried about these weird things that everybody wants to tell you, like what you should be worried about. Like when I was in my 5-year relationship, there were so many people telling me what I should and should not be okay about. And I would be like, well, I don't care about that. And people would be like, what? You never looked through his phone? For what? No. No. It's gonna come out anyway if he's doing something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or like, oh, you're cool if he goes out and hangs out with his friends. What I mean, what do you I don't yeah, he's not my slave. Like, I don't own him. I don't want ownership. I don't want ownership. I don't want that. Unless we owning some property or business. You know what I'm saying? Mm-mm. Matthew, what are you looking for in a marriage or partnership, or do you want marriage?
Why are you asking me?
Because
Yeah.
you belong to the show. Sorry.
Are we talking about our personal life?
Yes. What you mean? I've been talking about my personal life the whole time. Everything I say about my
Do
personal.
I have to talk about my personal?
What do you want?
Life partner.
A life part, but do you want
Ship.
marriage? If your person wants
I
a
want a
marriage
life
paper,
partnership.
yes. If your person wants marriage on your paper, are you aligned with that or not?
We could discuss aligning with that in some way if it's beneficial to us. Sure.
Okay.
I'm open to compromising and not just I'm open to aligning, I should say. I don't
Yeah.
want to compromise. I'm open to aligning with someone.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's the biggest thing for me right now. Like,
That's really co-creating. That's co-creating.
yeah, we can design it however we choose, but I definitely believe in having um, life partners.
Yeah, the fact I'm sorry, I was reading the comments there. The fact that people weren't allowed to share and would still it really makes it hard to even know if there um are people around you that align with you. Because and then we're always looking for like this weird approval from our people. Like whether it's our family or our culture or whatever. And we're always looking for these little weird like, oh, what are they gonna think? Or like, what are they, what is it? What is everybody gonna say? It's always a thing. And it's like, does it really have to be a thing? Like, does it look healthy? Like, I really just want people to be in healthy situations.
Lily, dog.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, he did say partners with an S.
yo, wow.
My thing is, we are adults. We know our responsibility. If you want to hang out with the boys and play cards, cool. Thursday, I'm hanging out with the girls. I'm not your mother. Whoever I mess with don't need to go
Wow, mother.
through
Say
my
no.
phone because I'm faithful, especially when I'm in a relationship. Who's it? That? Lamont, Julian. Yeah. Okay. Perfect example. But even if you weren't, though, this is the problem. Even if you were someone who's not faithful in a relationship,
It's wrong.
no one should be. It's OC that people attend to people in that way.
Hmm.
That's my thing. Is that if you can't have a full conversation about with your partner and um and have a
what you feeling
conversation
because you going through some feelings
like
about why you
talk
going through the
about it.
phone. So
Why are you even going through the phone? Go over there, ask him like what you whatever. Go express what you feeling before you go through that phone.
right, because I have a rule. My rule is that you can ask me anything. We can talk about anything. If you feeling some type of way, then go ahead and bring it on up. Don't fake around. Don't do this. Don't go through my phone. Don't be doing no sneaky stuff. Just ask.
Right.
Okay. Just ask. Ask if you can go through my phone. I might let you just because. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
ask. If you feeling froggy, ask. Don't be deceptful.
So what
Because
I'm
I'd rather discuss why you feel like you must do this and what is
right.
giving you this feeling. Because see, I know myself. I know I'm not a cheater. I'm not a doing anything wrong. So for you to have some feeling of that, we can discuss that and we can figure
Mhm.
out why. Because I know I'm not doing anything wrong. If I was a person doing something negative, then that would be the reason why you get caught. Because I'm gonna be open. Like, go ahead and look. I don't know what to say. Don't do nothing
But
wrong.
this is again
See,
what I'm saying is I don't like that. I don't like that partnership. Hold on. I don't like that partnerships threaten our right to have privacy. Because just because you're
just
my
because you're
partner doesn't mean I don't have a right to my privacy, whatever that may be. Like I'm not your child. I'm not your child. Now, like if I was a child, that would be different. But I'm not your
right.
child. So so that's I don't like those type of behaviors that come, in those situations. And I think there's so much responsibility we put on each other instead of putting more responsibility on ourselves. Like, why you ain't help your dude out? Why you ain't help your girl out with that? Or like, why you ain't do that? Like, what? And I'm not talking about stuff when it comes to like your family unit, right? Just in general, like the whole ride or die thing. Like it still kind of goes back to that. Like, I don't want to die with you. Okay. I want to die on my
What
own.
did I say? Don't be what, Matt Marshall?
I want you to die on your own, and that's it. Like but I want us to live together. We can live. We can ride. You know what I'm saying? We can ride. But I don't want to die. I ain't dying with you on purpose.
I can't tell no grown woman what.
What,
I
Matthew?
need
What?
to ask. I don't know what Lamont Sanford talking about.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, but I was talking. You keep talking over me. Were you listening to what I was saying, or are you reading?
Both.
Oh, okay. So, he said what? He said, what's wrong? Big boy.
Would I mess up, Shelly? I don't know what I say sometimes.
That's a toxic behavior and it's normalized. People have whole marriages, Facebook and screenshots. Yeah, and so okay, I do not agree with like when I say be open about your relationships when you discuss with people around you, your family, your kid, whatever, right? I do not mean be public and saying wild stuff on social media to each other and battling each other. Y'all living in the same house. Like I do not condone that. That is toxic. That is not, and that's also not what I mean by us talking about our business more. You know what I'm saying? And sharing our stories more. Like I want to be clear about that too, because no, that's no, that is not the platform for it.
I certainly can, Lamont Sanford.
What is happening,
You
man?
certainly
Are you
can.
listening?
Yes. But I'm
Stop
also
interrupting
answering the question because he's trying to make a point about what I said. And I'm like, I certainly can ask a woman to ask me if she's feeling some type of way to do that. I've done it and I do it. Whether they go behind my back, because when they go behind my back, they have crossed one of the egregious lines that I don't agree with, and now that compromises our relationship
I'm super
as a
confused about
whole.
what you're saying right now. Hello?
Who? Him?
Hello? You.
Hello?
I have no idea.
No.
Hello?
Hello? Why do I think
Yes?
I'm? Hmm?
Huh?
Hello?
Are you listening? Yes.
Yes.
Why you keep saying hello like that? Are you listening to me? Okay. What are you trying to explain? Because I'm reading what's over here, and I do your what you're saying does not seem to be aligning with what I'm reading.
He
Hello?
said, "I can't. You can't ask a person."
He said you can't tell a girl. He said you need to ask.
I'm talking about in the communication. Okay. Yeah, I'm asking you. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell nobody you can't do something. I'm gonna tell you that these are my things. If you would like to do this,
He
please
said,
ask
"Wait,
me.
you cannot ask a grown
I
woman
didn't
to
say anything
ask
about
you
telling her.
if you want to go through your phone." Oh, you mean as far as like him saying no to a girl to go through his phone?
See,
You
yeah, I'm
mean that's
confused.
not gonna go down
Like
like that?
you
If
thought I was
you can't
saying,
go through my phone?
tell her like you can't go through my phone. No, 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 no. I didn't say that. I'm saying this is how
That
I
is what you
tell.
said. It is sound like I knew
No,
that's not what
because
you meant, but that is
yeah, I say I tell my partners these are my issues. These are my things. If you feel in some type of way and you feel like you want to go through my phone or anything like that, then
wrong phone.
please ask me and let's discuss why you feel in some type of way before you decide to do it behind my back. Because if you do it behind my back and I find out and you did it behind my back, then regardless if you find anything or not that you didn't like or did like, guess what? You done made a mistake and now it's a compromise in how I feel about our relationship.
Matt, mommy
Uh,
said, mommy said the ride or die women fill the prisons while they ride is free in those streets. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, my mother. My mother's a walking t-shirt. I love it. I swear to God. She becomes the ride or die women fill the prisons while they ride is free in those streets.
mm.
But it's so true. That's why I be like, I don't be
I
putting.
get that. I get where she's coming from
I
with
do
that.
too. That's where the trap queens end up. Right in there.
I wonder why my light was dimming.
Because it's dark outside.
No, because it
Because it
wasn't
wasn't
tight.
turned on.
It wasn't tight. It was something going
You look
on.
like a shadow. I was wondering what happened. It's like you ain't got no lamps. But
You know I
the
got
ride
lamp.
be clean too. Right? Ride be super clean. Terrible out here suffering. Talking about they showing their loyalty lies. That's the other problem. It can these things like loyalty and respect can't be to your own self detriment. That's that's the problem. It can't be to your own self detriment. You can't just be out here agreeing to stuff and and you tearing up your insides. What was the little thing I posted the other day? I posted it yesterday. It was something like you can't. What is it? You can't set yourself on. Wait, you can't light somebody's light was and set yourself on fire. Something about setting yourself on fire just to light somebody's light, basically. Like you lighting somebody's candle, but you're setting yourself on fire. You know, and that's what I don't want.
Oh, you fuel them, but they don't fuel you.
Right. And that's why people suffer because somebody in there ain't getting fueled and somebody's getting over fueled.
I need all the fuel, baby. Gas over this mama. Straight gas. That's all I need
You
right
have to
here.
relearn
Okay.
the terminology.
Lamont Sanford, gas. We want gas.
Yes, Lily, we do need to relearn the terminology. And I think that's what we're talking about is really like applying, things like the Kwanzaa principles and things like that to rewriting a marriage structure that works. But I also have an issue with the marriage structure being infiltrated into the dating part because the dating part is the sifting process. This is where you have to figure out what you like, what aligns with you, and what does not align with you. If you are hung up on marriage rules while you're trying to sift, that's a problem. One cake is going in the competition, the other one is the taste test. Okay? I'm not putting the taste test cake in the competition. Like I that's not in the competition yet. So like it's my issue is that I think this is why relationships sometimes don't even be as fun as they should, because you out here trying to follow these other rules in anticipation that that's where you're gonna end up, and now you done stress yourself out in just the sifting process.
In the sifting process, they sifting whole because people like, all right, we together, and they playing
We
heavy.
weren't taught how to vet. It's okay. We were not taught how to vet. My mom just
People are
told me to
like,
ask questions.
people are like legit like going into their dating like this is my next husband. Like what? Like this is
Right,
my husband or wife. Excuse
right,
me. Didn't
right,
mean to be specifically.
right. But no, like, and so like this is what I'm saying when we talk about non-conventional marriage. What I really mean is anything that is outside of what is written or presented by the system that we follow in this country in particular with our people, right? And
All right, I'm
so
back.
when we think about that vetting process, yeah, vetting is not, yeah, vetting ain't in the Bible. But what is in the Bible though, if you want to say you can apply that to the vetting, is the principles and the ideas of like how to treat other humans. You know what I'm saying? And I think if we look at it like that, I think that marriage has become this whole like, here's this club, here are what you need to get in the club. This is the dress code. This is the fee at the door. Here's the VIP section. Here's the line. This is what time you need to be there. That's what marriage is, right? And then when you get up to the marriage, you be like, all right, cool, marriage, that's great. Let's go talk to the bouncer. Let's get in. Let's give him our ID, right? Now you got to go through a whole list. He got to look through the checklist. Do you make the checklist, right? So it's like, here are these things that they said I have to align with if I'm married. I think this is actually where we get messy because we have all these standards, which is also why all these unconventional to us, unconventional relationships and marriages are based upon gender as well, because all of that is a part of that system, right? It's actually none of that is based on love. None of it. None of it's based on connection, love, none of that. Okay, the paperwork is what I'm talking about. That is paper. I'm not talking about the feeling of union. And I think people need to understand the difference between the two, you know? And so if you say all of that and you say you have to be in this club and this is what you get with that club, right? This is what you get at the married club. Then you got all these people on the side who are very unsure if they're even allowed in this club. Like, do I have the chops for this club? Do I got the right outfit for this club? Am I on the list? And so you have this pressure, even preparing yourself to get to the marriage club, because you trying to figure out if you got all the things you need to get in the front door. So I feel like we somehow have put that process in dating, and it makes it more stressful because you got all this pressure instead of just really getting to know each other and figuring out what you believe in, what you don't believe in. It's like we're always aiming to see what's there. Is there marriage? Is there a ring down the line somewhere? Is there? I don't know. Let me look at him. Is he gonna leave me broke? It's like you gotta look at all these things, and I'm like, can I just look to see if I like this dude and I can sit and listen to him talk for like 10 minutes and not want to choke him? Like, can it be that simple in the vetting process? Like, it gets so complicated in the vetting process, and we're using up all these resources this energy in the dating process is like, now we got to get to marriage. Oh my God, you did all this while you was dating. Like, my God. Hello, Matthew.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
The cart before the
I
horse.
think that it's mm, a lot of alignment needs to happen with mindsets and so on. What you're vetting for is about trying to find what aligns with you. When you're vetting a candidate for a job, right, or for a
Mm-hmm.
position, or for a team member, you're looking for
Mm-hmm.
what aligns with your team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a sports team, for instance, they vet players. They don't just get the best, this, that, and the other. Sometimes that works, but maybe they need the third best because their best attribute
Says some
is
people are vetting for other purposes, not marriage.
okay.
Now that's true, but
Never
does
mind.
everybody tell the truth about that? I don't know if they know the answer to that though in the vetting process. I think there are some people who don't tell the whole truth about that in the vetting process, and some people know what they want and they don't want to say it because they don't want to lose the opportunity with the person. We need to rewind, review, reset our institutional structure to work for our own relationship, how our village needs to stand in support. Right, mommy. I think that is important that we need to know. Yeah, how, the village needs to support too. Like, because even if it's everything that can't work the same way, but when we give advice, when we give a lending ear, whatever that may be, it really just needs to be based on like how that person is feeling in that moment. How do you feel? How did that person make you feel? How do they feel right now? It probably needs to be less about the actual situation and more about like, are you feeling straight in this? Are you feeling good energies? You need to tune up, need some therapy. Like, what's going on?
I knew there was something going on. Like, why is my shit so up?
Yeah, something's definitely going on. Most people motors come out when you had done.
Silly Lily.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Nah, hey, that's real though. And people are scared to tell the truth because we're scared of the judgment that we will receive and the possible lost opportunity. People need multiple individuals for different reasons. The lack of a mom or dad will have that person looking for that in a romantic relationship. Right. And that's why I said you got to be a dollar and I got to be a dollar. Okay.
Bottom line is take care of yourself first, okay? And design your life partnerships with your
Mm-hmm.
partners.
And 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 the summary of that is though is that there is no traditional and untraditional and non-conventional marriage. It's marriage. Make it marriage. Don't make it conventional versus super traditional and then you
Right.
and you think it can't be any other way. It can just be marriage. See, like the point is that it's not that I don't believe in marriage. I don't believe in the marriage that I was taught. I don't
Right.
believe in the marriages that I have seen around me. It's not going to work for me. But I don't discourage marriage either because that works for people in the way that it works for them. But there are a lot of our culture is suffering from it. We're not making it. We're divorcing and we're causing more trauma in our family units than we need to. And if we move responsibly and base it on how we feel and how we're being fed and how we're feeding each other, then our village will be fed properly.
All right. Not answering that question.
The village isn't
Comment.
necessarily both came to be a dollar, but it don't.
So somebody shortchanging it there. That's
It's
how I
still
feel about
wait,
that comment.
wait, you both can
Somebody
be a
may not be a dollar. Somebody 98
dollar.
cent. Somebody close, but they ain't a dollar. Oh, we get to
Nah, if
that.
you don't, yeah, if you don't like what the other person is doing, then you ain't aligned.
Then you shortchanging it. So you done gave a couple
Yeah.
cents somewhere else.
The alignment is off. You need a
Oh,
adjustment. You
you
get to go to
95 cent. 95 cent ain't a dollar. You almost gave it your ain't. You see what I'm
right.
saying? That's the hardest change to come up with. How you get 95 cent? Go.
Because there is no 95 cents.
You
It's
got
probably,
you got to
but
have
the
three
person in
quarters
denial, the person has probably in denial and think they have 95 cents, and it's
and
probably
two
a little less,
dimes.
seventy
You
five
got to
cents.
have three quarters and two dimes to
It's
make
probably
95.
75 cents.
Right, because who got two dimes? You got a dime, some penny, and some
Live in our
nickels.
village and how we are all different, and our relationships reflect that. You got an old receipt in your pocket and thought it was a dollar. Ah!
Oh, you ask,
This junk
but
have
some
been
people they ask them to
alive.
take their dollar out too late, and then they be like, "Oh damn, I thought I had a dollar." You be like, "You ain't had a dollar this whole time. They
Some
was
people
faking."
giving you $1 like this. Yeah,
Don't
I
don't
know
unfold the dollar
it's a
yet.
little crumbled up, but
This is a it's a special dollar. Don't unfold it yet. I done held it for a long time, and
look like
get
this.
out of here.
Y'all,
Your
y'all look like
dollar
this.
is not a dollar.
Here you go.
That shit is
It's my dollar
87
right
cents.
here.
How the hell you make 87 cents? Three quarters, a dime.
But you know what, Matt?
Who got that?
We laughing at that, but Matthew, there are a lot of people who think they are a dollar and they ain't. They so that's real though. Right?
Like,
That's real. They think they a dollar and they think they coming in a relationship like I'm whole, I done healed, I done did all
right.
this. You give a
Cause
person
I'm
and then
80, I'm
somebody here,
87
somebody
cents.
and somebody transfer some energy and you be like, oh, I'm not healed yet. I am not
Right.
healed
I'm
yet.
87 cents. You can't even put that shit together. So hey, let me get 87 cents. I don't got 87 cents. Nigga go a
Well,
dollar.
I guess I was
Like
lying. I guess I wasn't a dollar. Oh
this ain't
no,
about
because
you,
I ain't a
girl.
dollar. You for sure wasn't a dollar.
You
No, because
definitely
I wasn't
wasn't
a
a
dollar.
dollar. What you thought you
I
was a
wasn't a
dollar?
dollar.
You thought you was a
I,
dollar?
I'm still not. I'm
Don't bring
still not
that
a
up.
dollar. That's why
We
I'm
not
single.
doning on you, but we none of us are dollars right now. So to think you was a dollar is meaning that we have to do more work.
Lily said, "Be having someone else's dollar, be borrowing the dollar." Hey, bro, can I borrow your
Let me
dollar
hold
real
that
quick?
dollar. I'm trying to get you.
You hold
That's how
it.
people really be. Bammers be holding a dollar. Let me hold a dollar so Shotty think I got a dollar. You know what I'm saying? Shotty be like, girl, let me get a dollar. This dude got a dollar, so I'm about to bring a dollar. Both of y'all came with somebody else's dollar. Then you realize she only got 60 cent and you only got 37 cent. Y'all still ain't got a dollar together. Y'all 97 cents.
Just, Lamont, Lamont, what is there a laughing face after that? Look, we are human and we are
we not
imperfect
talking.
out
We
here.
going, we
So,
going, we going.
but anywho, so
Right.
again, alignment is important. Being equally yoked is important because you have to align with those feelings so that you don't always have a it doesn't always have to be catastrophic when you don't agree with each other. If you're aligned, some in that same space, it doesn't have to be so catastrophic when things happen. So like your alignment, if your alignment, Shelly is funny. So if your
I know.
alignment, um, Lily said, "I'm good for about 75 cents."
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm working on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on it. I feel good about where I am right now. I'm not quite at my dollar, but I'm getting there. So yeah, so I really think it's super important that we are clear about that. Like I need to be like, yo, I'm coming with the dollar. You coming with the dollar? Or you or I gotta put up the tip. You see what I'm saying? Like I need to know where you at. Like don't
Now
be
there
saying
are,
you a dollar.
I think there can be exceptions to the dollar if there is, if the short
What?
change is not, it's something that you know can grow with a little investment. Because you may have
Oh, like
60 cent, like I
no,
may be
I thought you
60
meant more
cent, but
temporary.
I
You
might be
mean
60 cent,
temporary.
but I got a piece of little gold over here. See, it
Okay,
ain't a
but
whole dollar,
yeah,
but
see now
I
that
can't use that
no,
yet.
but see
I
you
gotta do you gotta exchange that for
that
something. You got to,
that's
I
still
don't know.
considered
I
a
tried.
dollar.
Yeah, I
I think
tried
that's still
to.
considered a dollar though.
It didn't
I
work.
still
What I
I
was
think that's
trying to
still,
do, it didn't work. What I was trying to do didn't work.
I
I
still
was like,
think
that
it's
don't even
considered a
sound right.
dollar.
Yeah, because
And that's why I say you are
no, the dollar is one person's sum.
the
$2 is the
total
total sum.
relationship, whatever works together to maintain the least. No, no, this is the problem, mom. People go 50-50, right? But 50-50, when you
Gotta
break it
come
down
to
on a
hundred
mental
hundred.
level, is you telling that people that they gotta have that you covering somebody else's half instead of coming at 100% 100% and y'all come together and collect more,
Right.
not
Because if the sum
something that's not
total,
there.
if the
Guess
sum,
what? Then
okay,
when
if you
y'all
did
break
like,
up, you walking around like I can't breathe.
let me
I ain't got my
explain that.
rib. I can't,
Let me
like that's
let me break it down though. If it's a dollar, if it's a dollar is the total sum in the
$1 per person.
relationship. Listen, if
Exactly.
the dollar is the total sum in the relationship, then everybody comes to it with a dollar. You give 50 cent, and the other partner gives 50 cent, and then the other 50 cent is there when something go, when you need to add a little bit more. Oh,
For the
we done
kids.
messed up. Something did like this. The kids come. You got to add another 50 cent. Like you got to save a little bit so you kind of
You
have
gotta
something.
have
But
a
if you don't have
savings.
nothing, if you don't have
You
nothing
gotta
in
have a health
reserve,
savings account.
right? That's how you got to look at it. That's how I see it. If you're gonna say it like that, you're gonna say it
You
like
gotta
that.
have a health
You come
savings
with two
account.
dollars, but together we have a dollar. Like in our business account, we have $1. In our
Well,
business account,
take
we have $1. But I got 50
100%,
cent in my account. You got 50
take
cent in your account.
100% responsibility for 50% of what the marriage needs. Okay. Cause see, I see that the marriage is another dollar. There's really $3. You're the dollar, your partner's a dollar, and then the relationship is a dollar. Okay. And in that dollar, I get 150 and you get 150. So I need you to do your 50 cent and I'm gonna do my
Where
50
that
cent.
other dollar come from, though?
The marriage,
Oh, you
that's
get paid to get
that's
married?
the dollar. You sure do.
Okay, there we go. Okay,
Because
okay,
that's a responsibility outside of my own self. That's a
right.
whole nother responsibility.
Okay, okay.
I have to
So
engage in
that's the
somebody else's
bonus because
emotion.
you do get bonuses. You do get more advantages as a, yes. So yes,
Right.
that's
That's
the
Shani,
bonus.
that's
You
right.
get
Right.
you get more to build.
Sometimes
You get, that's the build. That's the investment. That's the capital investment. You
sometimes
see
you
what I'm
will
saying?
not be a full dollar. And sometimes you will need somebody to help you and understand that you may have chipped off a
Now it's
little
getting
your dollar.
confusing. I think it's
No,
time.
mental health, Matthew. That's where the breakdown comes. This is the part that we're talking about
Good
is
marriages got good benefits. There we
some
go. There it
some
is. That's it. That's what that
Matthew,
brought it back
Matthew,
full circle. Thank
sometimes
you.
sometimes you have
I
to
mean,
be willing to understand that your partner may not feel their dollar bill self all the time. There may be a breakdown, is what I'm saying. And we
I
have to
get
be
it.
prepared for the breakdown. So if there's money in the bank of the marriage, then somebody should be able to pick up that slack. We're not saying that you're not going to be able to pick up the slack when people have life situations happening, because there are going to be things that shut us down mentally that the other person may have to help you push through. It may have to be some other understanding. I'm not saying that you can't, that some days we're not going to be our dollar selves. And that's what you have to work through. But what I'm not going to do is just leave myself with like 25 cents left and be like, you take the 75% and I'm going to just sit here and look pretty. And I'm in here with 25% of myself who's like, this is a great relationship. I'm having a great time. I don't have a lot to carry at all. My partner is carrying all of it. I just got 25%. Like, that's not healthy. Not healthy at all. So you gotta hold it down. Are you moving?
Yeah. All right.
Hello?
Good marriages got good
Oh.
benefits. Bring all your bring all your change to the table, everything. All hundred pennies. And
All 100 pennies.
what she say? We running into your session time. What she talking about?
Something. Cause right. He been tapping out in and out of his mental state for a minute. I don't know what's going on over there. He real sus.
It's been 2 hours. We good. The times that both partners are in and out of. Right. See, we all both in and out since and no deposits. I don't want to.
Yeah, and that's a problem. There's a lot of withdrawals and no deposits happening in some of these marriages, and one person is walking around super excited about all the checks they cash in, and the other one is exhausted of writing the checks and cashing them and putting them in the account and pulling them out. It just be like that sometimes. Nah, it's too much.
I'm working on that, Jewel. I got to do some
So now I want y'all to describe your
work on
ideal
that.
marriage
That's
or
part of
life
my
partner. I feel like I
that's
have.
part of my
I don't have a,
homework.
I don't have an ideal life partner. I have an ideal way I want to be treated with pretty much the principles of Kwanzaa. I just like respect. I want to build with somebody. I want somebody who understands that we're not going to be perfect human beings at all times, and that we can grow together, and that we can have space, and that we can have time together, but that we can also respect that doesn't mean that I love you any less, because I still want to have my individual self, and that we can always rearrange what's not working for us. Um,
Yeah,
but
like I said, I don't know.
I don't necessarily attach words like, I'm not saying I believe in monogamy or don't believe in monogamy, but I also kind of move differently with every dude I date. I don't have the same rules for every guy I date, because I really align
And
with different things at different times for
I'll be
different
honest,
reasons.
I I am working on that. I am in the process of um going to get some help to work on myself to figure some of those things out. I need to do some investing in myself to really figure out what my life partnership looks like so that I think I got a pretty good idea of how I want to live, and I pretty much am adaptable in a lot of ways, but I have not really recently looked at what I truly see. Does it include monogamy? I have,
Mine can, but it can't.
I
Like,
don't know.
I mean, it's different for every person with
I don't
me,
think that
but
like for me, like I'm
That just
okay.
has
This is what
nothing
we're
to do
talking
with
about. Like
anything for me. Like that
in
doesn't have anything to do
particular,
with anything for me.
for me in particular, I am monogamous for for the most part. Like I
Right,
don't cheat and do anything
right,
like that. Like when I'm single, I'm single, so that's a whole nother life. Um,
right.
but in relationships, that's me. So does it include monogamy? Probably, but traditional monogamy, yeah, that's going to depend on our relationship.
See, what does that mean? What does
I'm open to a
traditional
lot of.
monogamy mean?
That means that y'all only can
What's
only be,
non-traditional monogamy?
means that we together, but I don't know. There may be situations
Okay,
where we're not.
I'm gonna say this, Jewel.
Some people are swingers and shit. Does that mean they
I
not
believe,
monogamous? Does that mean like I don't know? So I don't know what
I think
you're.
that's a part of the agreement. I believe in energy and connection and respect.
She said the same thing.
I believe in respect and connection and energy. So because I believe in those things, I also kind of believe that it's possible that if I pick a partner, that they may have energy with somebody else. And all I am saying is we need to have conversations
Right. I'm
of
not like
having
because it may
the
not be me. The reason why I say it like I
it
may be
being
like
sneaky.
I choose to be monogamous at a time, but it may not be me who chooses to be monogamous. Am I okay with that? Yeah, if it's the
Right.
a build, it's right in our relationship. I don't really care. Like
Right.
to be honest. So I guess that's what I
Right.
mean by traditional monogamy. Like personally myself, but I'm open to a lot of different things. So I can't
I'm
really
open to
answer
different
that.
things
I'm
with
open
different
to
people.
building with my partner, but I do need to identify what the direct values and the ways that things that are not compromised, things that are not in alignment with myself.
Okay, so
And
like I'll say this. I'll say this. If my partner said, I want to be with you, but I think that I may have times where I want to connect with someone physically outside of our union. I'm not necessarily against it. I'm not saying that people should take advantage of for like you just out here playing around because I don't actually think that's physically safe. I really believe in safety. So that's the only reason I would be like, oh, I'm gonna be monogamous, like because I'm really like I really care about safety. Emotionally, I don't really connect with the whole like that's automatically cheating. It's only cheating if I've said I'm not okay with it, but it's really just about respect and open communication and transparency. Like necessarily with each person, I might be okay if that's what they're open to, or I might be in an energy where I'm not really like I'm cool with somebody else's energy, and it might have nothing to do with the dude I'm with. Like I might
and
just meet somebody else I don't
I
know,
agree with
have
Rhonda.
energy.
She talks about monogamy takes on a different definition in time of health and safety. Yeah, because
Absolutely, absolutely,
it just makes a difference. Period.
yeah, yeah. What I'm saying is, I'm
Like
not
there
a
was
jealous.
a time that monogamy was
I
part
don't
of
look at
your
people like they're gross and they don't love you just because they
ideology.
physically engage with someone else. Like I don't believe in that. I don't believe that that means they don't love me. What I believe is I have an issue with you if you lie to my face and you're doing it behind my back, and you don't need to do that with me. You can actually have a conversation and we can have figure out what is going to work, because there are going to be some men who may not like that I'm even that open, and that's fine. Then we don't need to be together. Because it might not work for them. They might
Right.
be thinking
There may be women
out
be
here
like,
doing
so you would
whatever.
let me sleep with another man? And I'll be like, that's what you want to do? Why would you let me do that? That's you don't love me. I'm like,
Yeah, safety is the only
it
reason
don't
I'm
have
involved
nothing
in
to do
monogamy.
with that. Like that's a whole because then they're gonna think, oh, because you want to go out and sleep with other women. No, you didn't ask about what I wanted. You said you was talking about yourself. I said I may be okay with you. I didn't say I may be okay with me doing the same thing you do. It may not align always. Like,
Yeah,
so
safety, Lily. I'm with you. That's what I'm about. I'm about safety because as long as you can respect me, and that's the other thing is about balance, that masculine and feminine balance that happens whether or not you are male or female. By the way, that is not gender related. That is energy related. Masculine and feminine energy is energy related. It is not gender related. But we have that balance, right? So for me, it is for me being a female. I do need to make sure that I am always in a place where I keep myself physically safe. Okay. And if men, I felt as though traditionally were more responsible in that, then there will be a lot of things I really don't care about, honestly. But I don't want the disrespect. I don't want the outside respect. Don't pop up with an imaginary baby and I didn't know this joint was pregnant for 9 months. You know what I'm saying? Don't be popping up here and you didn't gave me some life threatening disease. Don't be pop and then you just swell into my face, but I'm out here like you can be open with me, you can tell me everything, and then you just out here doing anything. And then I got Jones cursing me out like we ain't together. You know, like there's two that because one, men are not as open. I'm sorry, they're just not. They're not as
men
open
ain't
for their
shit.
female to
Just
always
say it.
also be as open
Say
as
it,
they are.
shit. Say it, Lily. Niggas ain't shit. Men ain't shit. Whatever you want to say.
No, I don't think it's that. I think we don't teach men that
I'm
it
messing,
doesn't
I'm
have to
messing with
threaten your
Lily. I'm messing with
it doesn't
Lily.
have to threaten your manhood because you let your woman, have entanglements. The only reason that this whole Will Jada issue is an issue is because he's narcissistic. He didn't care what happened. He only cares what happened because he got snitched on publicly. And now
No,
he
it
can walk
no. Forget it.
around.
It's bigger than him. It's bigger than him being narcissistic. It
No,
threatens the power structure of the patriarchal Eurocolonistic religious mindset. Okay?
that's not why he's mad.
No, forget why he's mad. I'm talking about why this is a whole issue in itself. The whole issue is
That's
not
why I was
about
talking
him.
about
The
him.
whole issue
I was
is
talking about him.
yeah, but the
I was
whole
talking about
reason why
men. I was
people
talking about him.
right, I know, but I'm saying I'm bringing it bigger than him because the reason why a lot of people is because men are threatened by them. He's getting slack from men because men are threatened that this is now going to compromise their relationships and compromise this. Like this is the whole thing about that. That whole issue is the issue is that they are on in media breaking the traditional views on marriage and having a great marriage throughout doing it with obstacles, and people want them to do what they want them to do.
Oh, right. But I
People
was
want
talking about the
everybody
people.
else to do what they
I
think is
was
the right thing.
referring. You went off on another. I'm referring
No, I
to
didn't.
the actual man not being comfortable with his woman being called out about something, and now it's attached to him publicly. If you were doing it behind closed doors, why are you ashamed in public? Why you all spanking her in public
Yeah,
like you ain't been
that's
out here?
all about that. That's all about that
That male
patriarchal
ego.
that machismo mindset of society that he still be trying to battle. That's why he's like, okay, he got to die down because he be upset, and then he got to realize why she when she look at him a certain way, and then he got to change that, and men don't like that, and so he's battling because he getting the phone calls. You gonna let your woman do all that? Woo, 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 woo.
Right.
But he got to
All that
fight that ego that he been fighting, that he's been working on very
anyway.
well.
Right.
Right. And now guys that have not been working on their ego, have not been working on their machismo, have not been working on their anything in that realm are questioning somebody who has evolved above
Right.
them and
And
making him
and then
question
you and
himself,
then
saying, "No, crab, come back down in this barrel." He's like, "Shit,
right.
should I come back down there? They got beers and shit."
Well, and then women have to deal with the flip side. So y'all have to deal with that side, that death of that side. Then we got to deal with the death of being whores. Like we have to fight that battle. It's like we can't even have that's ultimately what people hear. It's like you lose because you don't want to be in a
He didn't get
traditional marriage.
cheated on,
You
Lily.
know
This is what we talking about. He didn't get cheated on.
who didn't?
Will.
Yes, he did in his head.
Why? No. But was it illegal?
Illegal.
Do we believe that it was wrongfully done in their relationship? A
No,
lot
I
in
told
their life.
you
So it's
the
not
only
cheating.
the only way that it was a issue was because it came out publicly. That was it.
Right, but it wasn't cheating. See, to the public it's cheating. To everyone else it's cheating. This is what our problem is.
Right. The
Ain't
only issue
nobody
I
cheat.
had with it is he was young.
That was part of their agreement. That's a whole
That's
nother
not it.
issue. We'll talk about that later when we go into the trafficking and all that shit. When we talk about that stuff,
Right.
and then
Yeah, I mean, but that was my only issue in it, and that's kind of how I line in marriage. Like whatever you agree with, you agree with. Sometimes I agree with monogamy, and sometimes I don't. This is what I'm saying, though. I believe in energy. I have no idea when I'm gonna come across an energy that hits my energy. I don't know when my partner is gonna come up and meet somebody that hits their energy. So all I'm saying is that I don't know if I believe in monogamy because I don't know what's to come. So what I believe in is respect and transparency. Like that.
she ain't picked the wrong side, dude. She ain't get a proper agreement with the side dude. She ain't do that properly for him to shut his damn mouth on some
She
shit.
definitely chose the wrong side, dude. She definitely chose
Okay,
the wrong side, dude. Absolutely.
okay, I agree then not agree, I guess. Whatever.
He was not healthy. He wasn't in a good state of mind. At no point should he have been dating anyone. That's that's just health issues. You don't date anyone when you are broken like that. It's not healthy. That's what we're talking about now.
He was too
And he
young.
was too young. And there's a whole thing about that too. Like that's what I'm saying. They weren't healthy, y'all. This was not a healthy affair. They were
No,
not. Either one of them were in a good mental
she
state.
wasn't healthy either.
Right. They were not in a good mental state. She was unstable too. That's why she became a caretaker and then made a relationship with the person she was taking care of. And he fell in love with the caretaker. It was already an issue. And then she wasn't feeling good. So then that's another issue.
Hmm. That instability is a power control
But
thing.
again, this is
People
also
with
why the
power
world
take advantage of people that are not stable
right,
because they think that they can control them. She thought she
right,
had him under control,
right.
and now that he might have gotten a little bit better and is actually like trying to talk about it
Oh,
and
really?
should be trying to I don't know. He might have gotten some therapy and
Did you
now
see it?
he thinks he's supposed to talk about everything.
Right, but did you
Doesn't
see
mean he
it?
got better. I didn't mean he got better. He
Yeah,
got
he's
some
going
help,
through the
but it did
steps. He's
but
going through
he
the steps.
but yeah, and he think that that's what
But
you're supposed to do. Well, I'm
nah,
just gonna talk. I'm just gonna
he's
tell everybody.
disrespectful. He should have talked to them.
Yeah.
He should have had a conversation with them openly, but not the world. That was Troy. That's you a clout chaser. Sit down. Like I don't like that. I don't like that at all. She got him better, and then he left her, and then started talking shit. It's true. It's true. Just like a real dude. Just like a real live dude. You know, you go build them up and they start talking shit about you. I mean, but that's regular dynamics out here. Like it happens a lot. That ain't that foreign. He was feeling himself. That's what it was. Out here feeling himself, and he want to tell everybody he got that job. No, we don't want to know. I didn't want to know that. I
That's
didn't
the real deal. And that's the real deal. And I think that that
want
kind of brings us to the main solution to all this is
My
communication
mom said
and
because
not
men are unstable and they attract unstable side chicks. Yeah. Now, see, that's too many bags.
Somebody sounds a little.
Somebody gotta be somebody gotta be healthy in the situation. Somebody gotta have some smarts going on, some brains, some mental stability. Somebody, but it's true. Like if you just keep this that energy cycling,
Yeah.
look, young people love to air it out. But like if
All
they
right.
too much, they do too much. That is true, Lily. That is true. That young people love to air it out, but they're trying to break the standard so they can kind of weave themselves back in and find a balance. So the generation under them will have the balance of being honest about your relationships, but also learning that some things are kept private for just the protection of two people. But ultimately, we're not saying anything's right or wrong. I just wanted to really know what people thought about how our culture handles marriage. If the standard that we were taught is working, and if it makes sense for our actual like culture and generations that are out right now who are going to be getting married. Like, does this formula work for where we are going? That is the point of this, is not to condemn any side, but yeah, and ultimately to rearrange these rules and standards and understand that marriage can be a world that you create and co-create with your partner or partners, whichever you choose. Matthew, any last words?
I think that the main solution is communication. Um, Lily got a good thing for the last thing. Work on thyself
Yep.
before. I don't think that. I think you can date while you're working on yourself because
Yes.
you got to get to know
Yes.
yourself. But you have to be
Don't
upfront while you're
isolate.
dating
Do not
that
isolate.
you are not at this stage yet
Yet.
in yourself
And
to be.
actually, you're
So if
learning.
and you have to know that what stage of dating you're in. So don't
No,
be in the
that's
dating
good.
for
Good.
marriage stage.
That's
But
good.
yeah, so I
No,
think that's a
that's
good.
a great point, Matt. That's a great point because we don't want to skip that step.
And I think that we just gotta practice in our internal communities as we externalize our beliefs and values, and we build on traditions within ourselves that we
Right.
um try not to hold on to oppressive ways of thinking and oppressive teachings and traditions, and create ones in our own community that are going to be beneficial to us and help to build and maintain strong families, however that may be, whether it's co-parenting, this, that, or the other.
And to end that, if it doesn't feel good, readjust it, realign, figure out what'll make you feel better, and make sure that your partner is good too. And check in, do check ins all along the way, and understand that you can adjust those things, and you ain't got to suffer. You're gonna go through some hurdles, but you ain't got to suffer. So, um, you can be happy, and you can be a part of co-creating your happiness. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. We appreciate everybody. You know what I'm saying? Every Friday,
coming
same
out.
Met time. It's like no.
Hope y'all
um,
enjoyed. Hope it wasn't too rough.
love the dialogue. I love, this is another. We're gonna always continue conversations. We're always gonna bring things up. So
Yeah.
check us every week,
I'll
man.
let Matthew get
Start.
shut eye or briefing, or he got to get his life together or something over there,
What you
falling
mean?
apart, falling apart in life.
I just got good. I mean, 3 hours. It's like.
Mm. It's our regular. I get it.
It's the topics. Some topics I'll be energized. Some topics drain a lot out of me.
This one should have been a good one for you, but
A
okay.
little bit of both. A little bit of both.
All right. Yeah, we got
y'all,
the
don't
baby
for,
train
y'all
season.
don't forget to follow and share. Please share and start asking your friends and people to check us out on YouTube.
Yeah,
It's always up, so y'all don't have to just watch it live. You can
right.
send people, hey, check this conversation
So
out.
follow the
We'll start
YouTube.
putting up shorter clips of certain parts.
Yeah. And follow the YouTube. And y'all can also check out my Unicorn Intuitions and hit me up for a private reading.
Subscribe, the red button on YouTube. Go press it.
Subscribe. Click
Press
the
it.
bell for notifications.
Bing,
Ding, ding,
bing,
ding. Click
bing,
the bell.
bing,
Click
bing.
the bell. Click the bell. All right, y'all. Be safe.
Peace and all the love. Dun 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 dun. Dun.